Welcome back, Week 0 fans, to the Saturday morning cocktail kickoff with your host, me, Michael, from the Week 0 Sports and Other Stuff podcast, Daniel, my co-host on that same show, and Justin Riley from the Bama Standard. How's it going, everybody?
Rivalry weekend.
The real rivalry weekend, man. This ain't your brother in the house that you want to kick his ass because he's annoying. This is your neighbor that lets his dog take a dump in your yard and you want to burn his house down rivalry.
Yeah.
Like, is that puke orange?
Puke orange, them nasty corn dog smelling Cajuns coming up to Oxford.
Well, you know what's big on rivalry week? Everybody gets out to the quad or to the Grove and starts drinking early, and that's why our show is called Saturday Morning Cocktail Kickoff. So first things first, Justin, what's your Saturday morning cocktail today?
Man, well, starting off with customary coffee, but I will migrate to Old Tub whiskey. So it's
awesome.
It's my Tennessee choice today. So getting ready.
Bourbon is the only choice today, right?
Hey, I want to ask something. So since Tennessee fans get mad, they hurl mustard. If Bama fans get mad, did we hurl Dreamland barbecue sauce?
Or Jack Daniels?
Dreamland bottles at them?
I don't know. Is Tennessee famous for mustard? Does French's come from there? Like, who knows? Is that somewhere else, right?
I don't know, man. I wonder if they got a sponsor now.
Mustard yellow jerseys coming out today out of the tunnel. Yes. That would be pretty sweet. Well, it's not very far off from that puke orange, right?
Yeah, those colors aren't far and ugly.
Petty, I hate to ask this because I probably already know the answer, but what's your Saturday morning Bloody Mary look like? Anything different?
The only thing different is we're playing those coon asses from Louisiana, and so I put a double shot of vodka in the Bloody Mary for this game.
Good call. Well, myself, I've got a little special treat. I'm a big beer fan. Everybody that listens to our podcast, Week 0 Sports and Other Stuff. And I found this beauty. This is from a brewery over in Asheville called Highwire. And it's called Apple Wow. And it sounds disgusting or sounds like it should be cider or something, right? Well, it's not. It tastes like a Miller Lite with just a hint of apple. It's not extra sweet. It's not overpowering. It's very, very good. And they're making it out of those Henderson County apples from here in North Carolina. So I like supporting my state. So my words of advice to everybody out there is if you're a beer lover and you haven't been to Asheville, North Carolina, you're missing out.
Man, I'd much rather have that because this past week my sister decided to give me these sample beers or seltzers from Budweiser, like these fall flavors.
Gross. That shit is malt liquor, man. You don't want to be drinking those seltzers. Disgusting. Talk about a hangover.
It was the most disgusting thing I've ever put in my mouth, and I tried several of them. They were equally disgusting.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. If you want to get in the seltzer game and you haven't tried High Noon, they just started advertising on football games last week. But they're usually in the liquor stores because it's vodka and soda water rather than malt liquor. Way better. There's not a lot of alcohol in them, so they're like $3 a pop. And, it takes you $18 to get drunk. But they are awesome.
I don't drink seltzer. I honestly haven't drank seltzers, and I'm not trying to be dude about it. I'll drink girly drinks. But is that not like a Zima with a Jolly Rancher in it?
I mean, it's not far off from that, buddy.
Is that okay? That's basically the gist?
It's the essential concept. Some have better alcohol content than others, but yeah, it's the same concept.
Man, I was good with the Zima and a watermelon.
Well, I'm glad everybody brought some alcohol to the table today. You know what I mean? Like this is our first week where everybody's got something to drink at 9:30 Eastern, which says a lot about us, guys. Let's be honest. But enough with the alcohol. We got a big slate of games today. Where do we want to start? Justin, you're our guy for this. Come on,
man.
Man, without a doubt, the third Saturday in October, Alabama versus Tennessee, even though it's not the third Saturday anymore, but the rivalry is still alive. And to this, the newbies, they don't really understand it. But
because it hasn't been a rivalry, it's been a rivalry.
Look, for the people that don't know how big of a rivalry this was, Justin lived through it, right? And as you can see from that lamp in the back of he had a rough night last night. That thing's all crooked as hell. Did you have a domestic in there? What's going on?
Did a Tennessee fan come in and you had to whack him with your lamp?
Man, the mustard bottle hit it.
Justin started throwing shit early for this one, man. Hell.
No,
well, speaking of mustard bottles, we also got that big rivalry down in Oxford. You want to say a little about that, Petty, before we get into our first guest of the day?
Oh, yeah, man. And we got a big one coming up to talk about that rivalry. But, yeah, LSU's a big one. For the older generation Rebel fans, this is the biggest one. It was, we used to dominate state back in the day, and they were kind of an afterthought. And LSU Ole Miss had some big games. The 1959 Billy Cannon punt return, which is ironic, when Alabama lost to LSU a few years back and then beat them in the national championship 21-0. It was the same thing. Ole Miss lost that night 7-6 and comes back and beat them 21-0 in the Sugar Bowl to win it all. They've had the Burt Davis game where he ran 2 plays in 4 seconds, and people question the time clock. And you came into the state of Mississippi, and this is when the rivalries were really cool. You cross that state line, and it said, "Hey, everybody, you're entering Mississippi from Louisiana. Set your clocks back 4 seconds or 7 seconds, I think it was, because they ran 4 plays in 7." So, man, it's been a rivalry for the ages. There's been some good games. It's kind of gotten lopsided in the '80s, but. I've seen Ole Miss win some, and they're celebrating Mr. Eli Manning today. And the first time I ever went to Baton Rouge, Mr. Eli Manning was going there for his first game as a sophomore, and we kicked that LSU ass and won Nick Saban, ironically. So, hey, purple shirts and yellow britches, go to hell, you sons of bitches. That's for all my Rebels.
All right, man. Well, I'll tell you what. We are going to spend a good bit of this show on the Alabama game and the Ole Miss game because we have 2 great guests coming up today. Yeah. Our first guest, Petty's going to introduce him when the spot kicks off. But we had to record this one Thursday night because he is on the Grove partying already this morning and doesn't have time to get into our little show for this. So we're going to pull that one up in about 7 minutes and let you guys check it out. But once we return from that, for our Bama fans, we're going to have another special guest. And I'll give you a little teaser right now. I don't know if you guys remember probably the most emotional moment in Alabama football history when one Wesley Britt broke his leg out at the Tennessee game, and we were all devastated because we love that guy, and he gave us the fist pump on the way out, and I just got chills again. Every time I talk about that story, I get chills. It was a terrible moment for him, obviously getting injured, but it was just for me, and it really points back to your show, the title of your show. He really is the Bama Standard.
Without a doubt, man. That guy, he embodies it every letter. No question.
Yeah, and he's going to be joining us today at 11 Eastern, 10 Central. So, Bama fans, make sure you're here for that one. That's going to be a lot of fun. And, Petty, give him a little teaser about our Ole Miss guest that's coming up here in 6 minutes.
Man, we have a 2-time All-SEC defensive tackle. He came to Ole Miss at a time. He was the number 1 defensive tackle, 5-star, and this was when Rivals and Scout and all them were really in their heat and getting hot in 2004, 2005 era. And, Ole Miss had come off the Eli years but had several down years, and it wasn't really a cool thing to go to Ole Miss. And he was committed to LSU and Les Miles, and Auburn was second on the list. And Coach O, we hired Coach O. Coach O made him a priority and started talking that defensive line lingo, and he tells some of those stories, so I don't want to spoil it. But he was very pivotal in changing the culture of making it cool to come to Ole Miss again. And look, O didn't win at Ole Miss, but the teams that O recruited did win, and that he was Mr. Jerrell Powe.
Jerrell Powe.
Jerrell,
get that straight. Get the emphasis on the right
syllable.
syllable.
Jerrell Powe was the cornerstone. Like I said, all SEC defensive tackle, OG Landshark. Jerrell Powe is coming on with us, and man, do not miss this. He has stories about O. He tells stories about Houston Nutt. He tells stories about how he tried to emulate Deuce McAllister and it didn't work out real well.
That was one of my favorites.
Wow.
He talks about who he thinks is the best athlete he's ever seen on the football field, and it may surprise you at first. But it won't when you hear it. You're like, oh,
once you think about it, right?
But it's just a great interview, man. He talks with us for almost an hour. You do not want to miss this. Rebel legend Jerrell Powe, man, he's great. Like, he's in the Grove right now having a cocktail with other Rebel legends, getting ready to celebrate, and it's going to be awesome, man.
He might jump on. He might jump on the chat with us a little bit if he can get a signal out there. I'm sure the Grove is crazy right now. But that's one thing I want to tell you guys. So this is the first time we've ran a pre-recorded set on this show. So what we're going to do is when that recording is running, we're going to be in the chat with you guys talking about it. So anybody want to bring up a chat, we can put your post up on the screen, and then we'll kind of discuss that in the chat while we listen to Ole Miss legend break it down for us. Yep. And I think, guys, this is a perfect time to do it. You guys want to go ahead and break in? We're about 4 minutes early, but I'm getting excited about it. Are you?
You good with it, Justin?
What do you think, Justin? I mean, you're a Bama fan like me. I mean, are you excited about this guest?
Man, I am pumped. Hey, after seeing that little promo you sent me last night, Petty, man, I'm not an Ole Miss guy, but I'm ready to run through some freaking walls like Goldberg.
I went and tackled my neighbor. I watched LSU. Man, if you haven't watched it, Ole Miss is their media production's badass, and they do a they do it in Alabama. It's kind of like the thing on the jumbotron to get you real pumped before the game. They did one before LSU. I think I shared it, but
we'll see if we can figure out a way to put that up while you guys are watching.
I tackled my neighbor. I was just like, sorry, man. It was awesome. So
that's awesome. So without further ado, guys, let's go on in and let's take our first guest for the week. And again, we'll see you guys in the comments. Here we go. All right, guys, so here we are coming to you live, but kind of not live on a Thursday night, but we just could not resist bringing you this great guest. And Petty, why don't you introduce this guest for us and let everybody know who we're about to talk to?
Man, I gotta put my fan card down for a minute or turn it on. We got a Rebel legend, two-time All SEC defensive tackle, OG Land Shark. Number 57 on the field, but he was number 1 in most of our hearts. Jerrell Powe, man, from Wayne County. Dude, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys. How y'all doing?
Doing good. Man, are you pumped up for this LSU game? Because I've been looking on Twitter, and I have seen you pancake T-Bob Hebert's ass at least 50 times myself.
I've seen that one.
Listen, I got some good stuff that I'm going to wait for Saturday, right, just to get to people. Crunk, man. I miss me and T-Bob are real good friends, so I always mess with him. So we play LSU, I always got to post those highlights to just kind of mess with him. But I'm pumped, bro. I feel like I got about 10, 12 plays in me. I don't know how I'm going to feel after.
I got a helmet, man. I got a helmet. Put it on. I don't think anybody would turn you down walking on that field except for the other team.
No, but I'm excited, man. It's going to be a fun-filled weekend, big weekend. Retiring the legend himself, Eli Manning. I cannot wait. I'm pumped. I'm ready to see all the guys, all the older guys, all the former teammates, a lot of guys. The list is crazy, all the guys that's coming back. So I'm excited, man.
So, man, Lane has been asking for the atmosphere to show up on campus. And look, to our credit, man, since he's been there, we went through COVID one season. We played Austin Peay at 11 o'clock game against Arkansas. He hadn't had a chance to have that game where we've been the big game on campus. And now it kind of is where I think he's going to see that atmosphere. Like you said, all the legends are coming back.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be hype.
Aren't they going to have Manning painted in the end zones?
Yeah, they got Manning painted in the end zone. It's only right, so we roll out the red carpet like that. It's the man. I can't remember.
He's the man.
I thought it's not too long ago. I can't remember when I saw that. But they say there's no school have benefited more off of one family than Ole Miss have the Manning. So, I mean, it's only right we roll the red carpet out.
Do you think any of that, just a tad bit of that name being in the end zone, might have something to do with a junior quarterback from New Orleans being up on campus too?
Man, I don't know, but whatever it takes.
That's right.
We want him and we need it. Keep the tradition alive, baby.
That's right. Well, man.
The other day, I was a while ago. I see what they was like. It would be nice to get the other man, the grandson there, and have a speed limit 16, huh? That would be nice.
Hey, man.
You build a program around that kid.
I bet a lot of people would rather have speed limit be 57.
For a lot of reasons.
Nice.
Speaking of recruiting, man, that's kind of what I heard. I heard the show you did with Neil and them earlier today, and you mentioned Coach O calling you out of the blue, so you don't know me, and I got pecan pie. But, man, like I mentioned before the show, I was a recruiting buff, and you weren't really Ole Miss was kind of off the list. You were committed to, was it LSU first? And was it Saban or was it Miles?
No, it was Les Miles. I committed to LSU on national television at the All-American game. And
that's right.
Right.
Was Auburn not number 2 at the time too? No, it was kind of between.
Actually, it was between Auburn and LSU. I was gonna go to Auburn, but Les Miles got the job. Les Miles had got the job, and they had recruited me. They recruited the hell out of me, and I just remember falling in love with LSU. And I said, you know what, I'm going to LSU. But I'm gonna tell you one of the main factors that played a role in my decision to get into Ole Miss. Number one, I remember being at the All-American game and Ryan Paralleau, Mark Sanchez, You had Pat
Ryan
Turner.
Perlew, yeah.
Yeah,
Bring back some old names.
Yeah, and all those guys. Listen, all those guys was in the hospitality room. We was playing games and stuff. And I remember everybody was trying to represent their state that they was from. And I remember, representing from Mississippi. Oh, we got Deuce McCall. We got Walter Payton, Jackie Slater, all these. I'm naming all these guys because they were sleeping on Mississippi. And they was like, man, you talking about this and that, about you leaving your state. You're not even playing in your state. I had committed to LSU. Yeah, I remember that sticking with me, right? And I remember Coach O called me, of course. He headed to the national championship game. He called me and said, hey, big fella, you don't know me. He said, I just got the head coach's job at Ole Miss. I want to bring you in for a recruit. And I remember he recruited the hell out of me. And I just remember saying, you know what? I want to stay and represent my state. I want to stay here and I want to be a difference maker in my state. And so that's one of the main reasons why I chose Ole Miss and stayed at home. I wanted to stay home and represent my state.
That's awesome, man. That state pride. Well, and it was at the time it was real easy to go to the Auburn where they were producing big time defensive tackles, or LSU doing the same, man. So it was kind of a stretch to go to Ole Miss at that time when they were kind of struggling in between them Eli years. But did he just speak a different language to you? Y'all talk a defensive line language or something?
As soon as he landed, he told me I will be in Mississippi on Wednesday. My first stop is to come see you. Mm-hmm. And he was down there in that black Hummer. And we doing real out in the parking lot. I said, this man is crazy.
Wait, y'all doing 360s?
Man, we was sitting there working hand drills, and I'm like, man, this man energy is off the chart. And the way he recruited me, man, I just fell in love with. I said, now this is the guy I want to play for.
So did you?
I remember Tyson Jackson, Tyson Jackson used to always give me hell when I was at the Chiefs. They said, that's why you missed out on 2 natties. I said, that's why we kicked y'all ass twice.
That's right. Hey, man, a lot of times when they show highlights from that 09 LSU game, it's of Jevin. And right, man, he threw those 3 dimes. But what they don't show is that LSU didn't score no damn points on them Land Sharks that day. Y'all were busting Jefferson's tail and T-Bob's tail that day.
Yeah, when I was on the T-Bob show earlier. He asked me what was one of my favorite memories of the LSU and Ole Miss battle. I said, be honest with you, kneeing the ball on y'all in Death Valley. Kneeing the ball on y'all in Death Valley. Having pity for you guys. That was one of my most memorable moments because you don't see that much. It's hell to go win in Death Valley at night.
Oh, heck yeah.
That place is nuts. I've never seen it from the field, but good Lord, it is insane from the stands, and especially if you're not wearing purple and gold.
Right.
Is that man? That's a funny question. You saw the crazy shit at Tennessee this weekend: golf balls flying, mustard flying. What's the craziest thing did you ever see anything like that while you were on the field?
No. I never witnessed nothing like that. But that was terrible, man. That was poor sportsmanship. I mean, the guy literally, he didn't get the first down.
No, his hand was down at his waist. His knee was down.
He did. I was pissed. I almost broke my damn TV because
it almost got close to it.
I almost got the first down.
Well, look, Jerrell, I don't know if you're at that point in your Ole Miss fandom where we're a damn cardiac. It ain't ever damn pretty or easy. So are you sitting on the side? Are y'all you sitting there like me, like, son of a bitch, here we go again. Damn it.
And I'm yelling. I'm screaming. I don't watch the game around my family, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
Nah, they don't watch the game with me. I always myself. If I'm around family, if I'm not at the game, I always go home because they already know. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear nothing negative. I don't want to hear nothing.
Right.
I don't want to piss me off, so I always stay around.
Well, you were talking about Knoxville a minute ago, and I've only gone to Knoxville for a game one time when I was 16 years old, and I drove my new truck up there. And I didn't bother anybody, and Bama won, and I got back to my truck, and those bastards had keyed my truck from freaking bumper to bumper. And all I had was one little bitty Alabama sticker, maybe this big, on the back of it. And since then, I'm just not going back there during a football game at all. Just, no. Terrible. That was just, I expected it.
I never heard anything about them having rowdy fans like that. But, I mean, that was terrible. They displayed.
Y'all smoked them. I mean, y'all when they came down to
No. We smoked them, but then they got us one.
Oh, were you was that the 52? Was that the game we got beat real bad? Oh, yeah, that was bad. That was Bray, that dude with the world's stupidest tattoo, lit us up that day. Yeah.
Well, we've had a tattoo or two. Y'all remember AJ McCarron's chest, right?
Well, what was, man?
Hey guys, we had to cut this clip into like 6 spots, so you'll see little short breaks in between. I'm about to kick off part 2 right now.
I heard him talking about, and I know the prey of Jerry standing up, threatening to kill everybody within an inch of their life story is kind of legendary. That galvanized that team when the Land Sharks took a different step. What was outside of that, what was the craziest thing? Come on, give me a crazy ass Coach O story. What's the craziest thing that man did? Because I know it's something that you tell me that he did in practice.
Taking his shirt off in the meeting room one night. I don't want to call the guy name, but he got a guy face, man. And I just like, holy shit.
Like him and a player going at it?
Him and one of the players, and one of the guys was sleeping in the damn meeting room.
Oh, and damn.
Jumped like 2-3 rows and got like, yelling at him for sleeping in meetings. And I said, you know what? This man don't fucking play.
That's right. He's serious.
Did you ever sleep?
How the hell did you fall asleep in the meeting with that guy anyway?
I never played with O like that. I never. He was no sir.
Are y'all still? Y'all probably had. Like you said, you were the cornerstone of what he built at Ole Miss as a recruiting class, getting a 5-star #1 player. You really changed the culture of making it cool to go to Ole Miss again. You were kind of that dude, and him with O's. Do y'all still have her? Are y'all still
100%? I'm gonna go see him Saturday when we come to his locker room and see him.
Cool.
Ever since he left Ole Miss, every time he come back, I always go see him in the locker room. This will be the 3rd time he done came back since he left. I'll go see him before I go see him pregame at his locker room. Go see him, hug him, take a picture, and catch up. We got a great relationship. He's one of my favorite. He stuck by me. He believed in me. That's my heart.
Well,
one of the main reasons why I came to Ole Miss.
I had a question too about that. Do you think that he's going to go and try to be a head coach somewhere else again after this, or what do you think his direction is going to be after this year?
Well, I will say this right here. I'm sure he'll probably try to get that SC job.
Sure.
Yeah, because I know how he feels.
Yeah.
I would look. Well,
you were saying back.
I just say this right here. I've been seeing guys post it. I seen somebody post on Facebook. What do you guys think about having old back?
Yeah.
At some capacity. I know they say DC job. I haven't met our defensive coordinator Durkin. But I have no problem with him. So I wouldn't just say I would love to see him get bumped. But
it wouldn't hurt your feelings.
Maybe he gets one of those analyst jobs where he gets to just
and then work his way up. Yeah.
How they do that?
I would love to have him back at Ole Miss. I think it'll be huge in recruiting. Also, what he experience working with defensive linemen, and that's one of the points we need to get better at. Not take credit from my defensive line coach or anything like that. None of them not doing that. All I'm saying is the guy is a defensive line specialist. That's what we need to get better at. We need more ass up front. We need bigger guys. We need guys that teach these guys how to hold a point and move lateral. I think we'll be big in that.
Well, you said, you asked, O was credited. Y'all were the best defensive line Ole Miss has had in my lifetime. Like with you, Preya, Tillman, Lockett.
I say right here. I will say this right here because I cannot speak beyond. I remember far back as I can remember vividly. Ole Miss players. This is when McKinley Barkins, and then you have Michael Bowe and all
Eddie Strong. Yeah.
But I remember Jesse Mitchell playing.
Well, now there was 1992. We had the #1 defense, Red Death, but it was linebackers. But y'all's defensive line,
right?
I think a little.
I think up and down, completely across the board, defensive line. I don't think it's been a better defensive line than us.
No, it was nasty, man. The way y'all dominated those backfields. But man, you touched on something. This is something I want to do for the fans that aren't Ole Miss fans. You said, stuck by you. I don't know if any, do you mind? I would love for you. I don't know if many people outside the Ole Miss family understand your story once you did commit to Ole Miss. That was the big deal. but people didn't realize what came after. You had one of the hardest struggles and battles with the NCAA of any player. And I know I'm connected to Ole Miss, but it's got to be one of the craziest ever. Because like I said, we touched on it earlier. You went to Catham to Hargrave, which doesn't really happen anymore. But usually when you did that, that got you into college. And you did that. I don't stop now and let you tell it.
I touch on it a little bit for the ones who's not familiar with the story. When I graduated in 2005, I had to go to Hargrave Military Academy to improve on some core courses and also, to get some core courses and also improve in my ACT score. Well, when I got there, it's a post-grad school. It allows you to come there, get what you need, and not lose no eligibility to be able to go to a 4-year institute. Well, out of the 70-some guys that went there, I was the only guy that got his coursework red flag through the NCAA. I then had to re-enroll back in my high school and take some coursework through Penn Foster with someone watching me. So just imagine how embarrassing that was. You just left in 2005. They throw pep rallies. He was All-American, #1 defensive tackle in the nation, and you happen to re-enroll back in your school and take coursework. That was embarrassing. So then I completed that coursework. The NCAA then red flagged it again and said, hey, I tell you what, if you can prove that you can maintain the proper freshman GPA on a college level, then we will grant you your athletic scholarship. So I had to go to school at Ole Miss and not play football for a year. That's when I then got up to 384 pounds.
You got big. Whoa. Yeah, he got big.
That's a big boy.
I got up to 384 pounds. Couldn't do 10 push-ups, 10 sit-ups. I was just eating my way out of football because I was not allowed to the facilities. I was not allowed to be around the team. So I was just doing like any other freshman, just partying, eating.
Right.
That's when I did the year at Ole Miss, that's when they fully granted me my scholarship.
Yeah.
Then like I said, I couldn't do 10 push-ups, couldn't do no sit-ups, couldn't do nothing, man. I couldn't even make it through warm-ups. It was some days where I would come out and I would warm up and would be like, all right, your day done.
Well, like I said, you were out of the game pretty much for almost 2 years, right?
Yeah, 2 years. So, I played at Hargrave, but I was out of the game for 2 years. I did.
Between that, yeah.
So I had to lose down. I lost down from 384 to 312, played in 08, and that's when
the Sharks started feasting, right?
Started feasting, baby.
Yeah, man, that was, and man, you said it in a nice way, but the NCAA was some of the biggest bullshit I've ever seen.
I want to say what I want to say.
Oh, man, you say what you want.
You fancy on the show.
Man, they dirty ass. They're dirty, man. Look,
it's not fair how they treat anybody. It's like they just pick and choose. It seems like from the outside looking in, and that's it's effed up.
North Carolina can go 10 years and have a damn fake college for students, and nothing ever gets. We can go up on the NCAA.
We did a lot of things.
The main thing
is,
man, your story was a story of perseverance. We had Rudy Griffin from Alabama on last Saturday, and he transferred from Citadel and walked on at Alabama, and became. And so, man, these stories, man, I think kids need to hear these days. There's too many kids today that want to give up, want it the easy route, want things given to them. And, man, you could have given up so many times and said to hell with it. And man, you never did.
And without transfer portal and NIL and all this stuff you got now, it's becoming, I guess, a little better for the players nowadays where, they got a little more ability to move around if they're not making it work or whatever. But you guys, you gritted it out. It's pretty amazing to watch what happened back then.
One of the reasons I had no choice, I knew I wanted to make it. I always said for myself, I knew I wanted to be the first player from my hometown to make it pro. Like I said earlier today, I set out 3 goals that I was going to get a college education, I was going to make it to the NFL, and I was going to buy my mom a house one day. And through hard work and perseverance, I was able to do all 3. And I knew, my pops used to always say, son, in order to erase this, it's only one way to erase this. Bull crap off your resume. And that's you got to be successful. You got to
succeed.
You got to succeed, and you'll probably never hear about this bull crap again. You got to succeed. Right. And that's one of the things I knew I wanted to get that blemish off my resume. So.
a badge of honor, kind of.
And
that
like
you dug through it, yeah.
Like you tweeted out, where was the NCAA on that day where you walked across the stage?
Right.
But hey, man,
one of the things I tell kids, man, persevere through it all, man. Just continue to work hard. I mean, even when I got to the NFL, I was a 6th rounder. Mm-hmm. And Jonathan Baldwin was our 1st rounder. Well, my life expectancy was like 2 years. I left 6. He left 3.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? That brings me to something. You know what? We talk about on the show, Daniel and I had moments in our lives in sports where we came up against somebody not even nearly as good or as big as you, and it put us right in the place and let us know how far we were going to make it in football, right? Just basically said, damn, right. When I ran into that guy, I'm like, all right, this is about as far as I'm going to make it in football. You've been to the highest level. What athlete, when you've been on the field with them, have you just looked around before and just been like, damn?
I can already tell you now.
Yeah, I bet.
That fucking J.J. Watt.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
That J.J. Watt is the best player I ever on the field with. The way
didn't even hesitate.
The way he approached the game, the way he approached practice, the way he approached workouts. The man is by far the best. He's the best professional. He's the best football player I ever been around in my life, hands down. I have told guys that I played with, we have these arguments all the time. They not discrediting him, but I just tell them straight up. Listen, I tell my friends, Tyson, Glenn, we talk. I say, hey, J.J. Watt is the best teammate. He's the best player. He the best everything I ever been around when it comes to football. There's nobody that works their ass off his hand. I remember he signed his $100 million contract. Yeah. He woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, went to the facility, and he flipped the tire 100 times. He flipped the big tractor tire 100 times. He said, I just wanted to flip it for every million that I got. So
that's pretty awesome.
He did it 100 times, so he wasn't tired. So he did it 100 more. He was at 2, so he wasn't tired. So he said, well, shit, I'm going to try to get 3. Well, he got halfway in it. He got like 30 reps, and he just said, I got to finish it. But the way that guy used to practice, the way he used to whoop guys' ass, all pro practice. And I remember Billy O'Brien, which is the offense coordinator over in Alabama.
Oh, yeah. Very familiar.
Billy O used to pull him out of practice because, he would just dominate practice. The kid dominated every day, man. That's awesome. I've been harping on him, I know, for 2 months, but he deserved it. He deserved flowers. Now, I used to always tell my buddy Eugene Sims that, I said, hey, because my buddy Eugene played 8 years with the Rams. I used to tell him, I said, hey, J.J. Watt going to go down as the best defensive player they ever played football. Now, I'm an honest man. That 99 over there at the Rams is a bad.
Oh, Aaron Donald, man. Yeah. They don't, man.
Listen, I went back to my buddy. I said, hey, both of them 99 bad, but I said, hey, that's a bad boy over there too now.
Well, man, Jerrell, you were a freak of nature. Like I said, I seen your ups on that interception against Mississippi State, but Aaron Donald takes off his shirt, and you're like, holy hell, that's a defensive tackle? That's not even fair, man. Like, we're not all created equal. That's horse shit.
I got a chance to hang around him. I hung around him a lot because, like I said, one of my best friends played with the Rams and just one of the nicest guys you ever meet. And the way he approached the game is just like J.J. Watt. The way he work out, take care of his body, and always being a pro off the field.
Mm-hmm. Powe, man, you grew up in Mississippi around catfish, man. That was just you had too much cat. It was too much catfish in Mississippi.
Too much.
This is my problem.
And my little boy, I to give you guys a little humor to this. My little boy, he liked to play this game called "How Well Do You Know Your Daddy and Son?" So he always asks. This is his little game he like to play. I always say, "What's Daddy's favorite food?" And he'll get mad. He say, "You know, I already know that."
You gotta have something harder.
Yeah, but I love it, man. So I had too much, so I couldn't get that body like those guys.
No, that's what I'm saying, man. Too much good food in Mississippi, man.
Like
they all got that Tom Brady diet now, right?
You were like the team cook, right? You were cooking for everybody.
I used to cook a lot. That's one of the things Houston wanted us to do, like just keep that brotherhood. Like he always wanted us to like do things together. So I used to fire the grill up a lot, just invite guys over, watch.
Dude, you played under the two most extreme personalities probably ever coach at Ole Miss. How crazy was that to go from Red Bull to all right, guys, we gonna get together and we gonna hug and we gonna do some campfire, buddy, yeah. How crazy ass of a transformation was that?
Crazy, man. I tell you what, I used to love to hear Coach Nutt. This the best. Hey, guys, these the best days of your life. I Gatorade you, I water you, I feed you, I get back. What else you want? But love to hear him go to talking like that, but it was a joy playing for both of those guys, man. Like you said, definitely two different personalities, but they both were passionate. They both instilled a lot in us and got us to believe in, man. We had some successful years under those guys.
Dude, I got to ask, because you just talked about how he tells some crazy stuff. I'll never forget, because I can't remember, I think it was the one against Oklahoma State. They go into the locker room and they catch Nutt in his pregame speech. It's like, all right, guys, everybody get together. I want you to repeat after me. We look good.
We
feel good. We gonna play good. Because it's all good. Yeah. Tell me y'all looked around like, what the fuck did he just say? Did that pump you up?
Yeah, it got us crunk though, man.
That's right.
It got us.
Then I can see, because I heard that and I was like, you got to be shitting me.
Yeah.
But y'all, okay, cool. Hey, y'all came out and whipped them Cowboys that night. I guess that was before Oklahoma State, right?
No.
Or was that the Texas Tech one?
Oh, Oklahoma State in the Texas Stadium.
Yeah, that's right. And then the Texas Tech was the year before.
In front of the Cowboys.
Oh, yeah, man. That's right, man. It was that back-to-back. I was getting my years confused, man. That, a Rebel fan, we kind of have a few cocktails from time to time, make some memories blur. But, huh?
I said we have too many of them.
Too many. Look, man, on our Saturday morning kickoff, you won't get to see it. I would have it usually, but I'm usually drinking a Bloody Mary for our
Bloody Mary? No, he's usually drinking 5 or 6 Bloody Marys. We're going to put a counter up there every time he starts a new one next time, so it'll be like 3 Bloody Marys, 4 as he's going through.
Listen, I said, Lane been telling everybody to leave the grove. I said, shit, they trying, they just can't.
They drunk.
Too many drinks. They trying.
Man, we need to shut. I agree. We need to shut the Grove off about 2 hours before game time, and we could fill up 100,000 seat stadium.
You just get a riot if you shut the Grove down because they're having too much fun out there, buddy.
Well, I can't get there. I told my the crew I'm gonna be with. I was Judge Thomas called me today. I said, listen, I ain't goddamn drag ass in this set. I want to be in the Grove at 9:30.
That's why we could. That's why you responded to me 8:30 on Saturday. I was like, "Yeah, he's gonna be up in Oxford. We ain't gonna get the man on Saturday."
No sir, no. I'm gonna have my cup. I'm gonna have my shades, and I'm gonna be over there with Ty waiting, and we're gonna cut a tie.
All right.
Hell yeah! Well, look, man, we talk a little, wagering on this show from time to time, and I heard you making some picks. My man Michael's got some thoughts on this.
Oh, yeah. So here's the thing. I heard what y'all were talking about, too, and I heard that you missed out on a preseason bet. But I have... Tell us about that first.
Man, I told my friends, I said, listen, Matt Corral is going to win the Heisman. I said, I heard Joe Burrow daddy put like $1,000 or something that he would win the Heisman. I said, dude, why not? We bet on the games. I said, I'm going to go put a couple grand. I said, I'm going to get a couple grand. I'm going to put it on that Matt Corral is going to win the Heisman. I said, Dick, we got the offense. We're going to throw the ball a lot. The kid can do it all. I said, this man going to have a chance to win the Heisman. I think he was preseason. He was number 6.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
I dragged ass and I kicked my.
He still had pretty long odds, though, like 50 or 100 to 1, right?
He's like plus 120 now, 160.
Yeah, now it's even money.
But still, it's still good money. It's still good money. I'd go put it on there.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't bet against him right now. That's for sure. Well, the bet that I took at the beginning, one of our podcast episodes, the title's called "Take the Damn Bet," and it's because Daniel and I, or Petty and I, had looked at the lines for total wins for all the SEC teams before the season started out. And we saw that the over-under for wins for Ole Miss was 7.5 wins. And I was like, you mean to tell me that I'm going to get paid if they get 8 wins? Take the damn bet. You know what I mean?
Hammer
And the other one was LSU over under 8.5. So like LSU's got to win 9. We walked through that schedule. It's like, all right, I think they're going to lose 4 games this year. You know what I mean? I can see that happening. So we took those two. I took the under on LSU and the over on Ole Miss. And if Ole Miss beats LSU this week, I'm covered because they've already lost 3. They've only got to lose 1 more. And I think if Ole Miss wins this game this week, they pretty much can breeze through to an 8-win season. So
we're going to run the table.
All right, guys. As we come up right now, we're going to have a little bit of technical difficulties on the video, but the audio is pretty good. So continue to enjoy. Here we go with part 4. We're a little over halfway through.
Oh, yeah. Man, I'm nervous, man.
Yeah.
Matt was a little banged up. We got some offensive guys out. Man, Powe, I'm a little nervous, man. Tell me why I shouldn't be nervous.
Vegas is trying to bait people to take that LSU 9.5 points right now.
Listen. Vegas is trying to. What the line opened up at 13.5, I want to say.
Oh, did it? I knew it was around 10 or it was somewhere around there. It was high.
10.5. Then it started dropping. I looked at it a while ago. It's at 9. I think too much money is going on Ole Miss. They just trying to shift some of the money back over there to LSU. We're gonna beat their ass. We're gonna beat their ass. We're gonna get some guys healthy, and we're gonna run the damn table.
Run the table.
Only team that scared. There's 2 teams that scare me. I got to be honest with you. Bo Nix don't know if he want to be a Heisman or he want to be a damn high school coach. Be a fucking high school coach next week.
I mean, he needs to be a high school coach next week. That's right.
Quarterback, I want to say. And he scares me, man, because he'll come out there and look like a damn Heisman. Then you see him playing the other team. I'm like, man, this dude is terrible. And the other team that scared me too, and I got to be honest with you, them damn Bulldogs.
We got to go to Starkville.
We got to go down there, and history shows the team with the better record usually go down there and piss down their leg. I'm sick of them because I know them. They're going to know that. Let's say, for instance, if we run the table and we get to those guys. I was looking at some different scenarios that will put us in the playoffs, right? I was looking at it before I called on. And I think they said we needed to run the table and Georgia needed to dominate Alabama in the SEC championship if they go. They need to dominate it, and they'll give us a chance into the college playoff. Man, if that scenario comes to Thanksgiving night, them fucking Bulldogs gonna come out look damn 2012 Patriots, buddy.
Oh, and
we need Georgia the bells. We need Georgia. Go ahead, Ben, sorry.
It's his birthday. It's on his birthday, so that's the last thing I need is an L.
Oh no, hey, is your boy's birthday's the 29th? What day? My birthday's the 29th. My 30th birthday. Y'all
25th, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, it's on Thanksgiving. Y'all beat LSU up in Oxford. Miles loses his mind, does the clocking thing or whatever. And I tell my wife, all we got to do is beat 2-8 Mississippi State, and we're going to the Citrus Bowl this year. So we get, and my 30th birthday was on the day of the Egg Bowl. And man, we got Disney World tickets. We hadn't been to Disney World. We're going to go see the Rebels in the Citrus Bowl. And she threw a surprise party the night before, and then that shit happened. Starkville, y'all went to Dallas, and I had to go to Orlando with a bunch of damn LSU fans.
Listen,
so I'm nervous. I'm with you, man. I'm nervous about Starkville.
I'm going to be all the way honest with you. I remember that game, and I just remember saying, we got it. We got it under control. We was playing good ball. And we was too lax. Went out there, Dixon credited Anthony Dixon is a good buddy of mine, him and Pernell.
Oh, yeah.
Booby
can run.
Yeah, Big Kyle, all them guys. I got a good friendship with all those guys. So, I mean, they had it on their mind. Charles burned them, and they came out, and J.C. Brickton on it was talking so much shit, which was they had it out for me. So, them guys came out, man. We pitched down our leg, man. I just remember, like, we got it under control, but they can't. We're going to this every time.
I feel like, and man, you correct me here on this one, Powe, because you were on the team, but I felt like Nutt when he was at Arkansas, he always beat State. And the year before, we beat them like an absolute drum in Oxford, Mississippi. I mean, the Land Sharks had like 12 sacks. You had an interception that day.
We tied the record for the most sacks.
Yeah, like it didn't give up like 10 yards or whatever. So I thought there was a mindset of, Nut didn't expect what he was going to walk into. Different when you go into Starkville. It's like you said, man. It's a different when the bells start ringing. Them boys get a little crazy. But when that red and blue comes in there,
well, you said something a few minutes ago that made my eyes light up, because I'm a data nerd kind of guy, and you said the word scenario, and boy, did I start thinking right then. And Jerrell, let me tell you something. I'm about to talk you into being a Bama fan real quick. So listen to this and hear me out, all right? If you can just get Georgia to lay an egg anywhere, okay, this season, maybe it's at the cocktail party, wherever it happens, if they lay one egg, you don't need a blowout. All you need is either one of those teams to lose in the SEC championship. You're the only one-loss team left to go with them. You're guaranteed to be in. Take it another step further. If Alabama goes in and blows Georgia out of that stadium worse than we beat Ole Miss, then you're guaranteed to be in that game. Because everybody's got such a high opinion of Georgia. They're going to be like, man, they just ran up against Bama on a good day. Let's give them another shot. So, roll Tide.
Yeah, because I usually like to root for, and when they get down to the playoffs and we're not playing, we never been playing, but I usually like to root for Ole Miss. I mean to say for Alabama. So
I'm the same way. Ole Miss is my other team, So I'd like to see them rematch in that last game. That'd be great.
I don't know. Well, Jerrell, man, we have taken so much of your time tonight, buddy.
All you want, Doc.
So you tell me a little bit about you. You got a son. Is he 6?
He's 6. He'll be 7 on the 25th of next month.
Is he already like 220? Punching, but you got him down. But
his mom always, I tell you this little funny story. His mom, she do credit to her, man. She don't believe in that eating bad, so she always making him eat his vegetable, eating veggies, chips, and all that old bull crap.
That's the way I think about it.
What she wanted to be a running back? One of them pretty boys?
Gymnastics, something, yeah. But anyway, yeah, she always joke with me. I piss her off when I say this. She always said, "You're gonna be big, just like your daddy." Like when he always holler, he want a cheeseburger. She said, "You're gonna be big, just like your damn daddy." So I said, "His daddy got that."
That's right.
That's
all I wanted to be when I was a kid. I was trying my best to stuff in 2 Big Macs to try to get as big as my daddy.
Absolutely,
oh,
yeah. That's what Coach told us to eat.
Yeah, but he's a sport, man. He gonna everything Ole Miss. I asked him. He went to Southern Miss, so I always just call him. I say, what's your favorite school? He said Ole Miss. Everything Ole Miss. He know where he going to school at.
Okay. So it ain't gonna be there's no like when young
it's with this arch.
Yeah,
he's going to.
When he does his signing thing, they're gonna have 3 Ole Miss hats on the table. That's right.
Real.
Look, man, you just made every Ole Miss fan grin from ear to ear with that one.
Ain't no doubt about it, man. He going to Hotty Toddy land, baby.
Well, where are you at now? Are you in Hattiesburg?
I live in Atlanta. I got a place in Hattiesburg, but I live in Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
I like it over here, man. It's just
like the city.
Different. I like the city, man. I needed a little bit of both. I like the country.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I grew up in a town of 300 people in North Alabama, right next to the Mississippi line. I was 8 miles from Mississippi, and it's 100 cows. I knew as many cows as I did people as a kid. So
Yeah, I grew up in Jackson, now in Tampa. I kind of like that city life with you, man. I got a treat too, man. We moved down here last year, and Ole Miss ended up in the bowl game.
And you got a Super Bowl? Come on, Tom Brady.
Be the good.
Oh yeah. I'm
good year there.
Heck yeah, man. Got to Kansas. Your boys came down here a few times. KC, are you still a KC fan? Is that your NFL team?
I am, but I mainly root for individuals. But I do too. But if I had a team that I would play for, it would be the Chiefs. Of course, they good too, and they got Patty Mahomes. Exciting offense. They struggling right now, but I cheer for the Chiefs. But I mainly cheer for the individuals.
Can't see through these crimson tinted glasses, guys.
always been the NFL, especially growing up in Mississippi with no team. You know, the Saints were down south, but they kind of were always bad. And I didn't want to cheer for the Saints on Saturday if the Rebels were struggling. It just wasn't very fun. It made football not fun. So I kind of just cheered. I'm like you, always kind of cheer for guys. I liked Elway and of course liked Eli when he went pro. I followed your career at Kansas City and then to the Texans. So yeah, I follow Rebels. I like to watch, pull for you guys. So it's always cool to. And man, it's cool to know that you guys are all. Lane seems very welcoming and bringing. If you reached, have you talked with Lane?
I have never ever met Lane.
Really?
I never met Lane ever.
Do you think you?
So I had opportunities to, but I'm running tired.
Right.
I'd be trying to get to the Grove to be honest.
No, really? So you're there for the show? You've done all. You've already played the games. You ready?
You're like sneaking out of the Grove at halftime.
I mean,
huh?
Yeah. I know Phil Loho very, very well. Man, him worked out at Trent Williams, who was a good friend of mine, left tackle for the 49ers. He owned the gym out in Houston. Anywho, me and he used to work out there together. So I know Phil very well. I had a couple of opportunities to meet Lane. Like I said, I'm not one of them guys that like to bother. I meet him when I meet him.
That's cool.
Yeah, he's doing keep it going. I just go speak, go holler at Phil, go holler at my boy King Crane, go holler at Brandis, a couple of guys that was there when I was there. And I make my way to the Grove, baby.
But you all aboard the train, though, right?
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
He's made it fun again, man. He's made it look.
I love his swag. I love the way
Well, that's the kind of thing we've joked about.
Man, I love when he gets popcorn. I love all that. I hope he throw that damn clipboard twice.
Is he not us? He's us that finally got to coach. Just a bunch of jackass college people that's really smart at football.
He reminds me of a lot of my friends that know this. That'll be George Hilo when George Hilo become the head coach. George is the defensive back coach at Michigan right now, which is my son, godfather, one of my best friends. And that's George Hilo as a head coach, throwing that damn clipboard.
Really? So he's going to be a reincarnate. Like I said, man, you watch Lane, and while we were watching you play college, we were playing on the PlayStation. That's how we played like Lane calls it now.
Going for it,
we were going
to the line as fast as you could.
31, and your friend was like, "You sorry son of a bitch, cussing everybody." And then we're talking shit like, "Pop your popcorn, man." Lane is us, but he's really good. He's us, but a brilliant mind at college football. I don't want to say he's us because obviously there's that man knows his damn X's and O's. So,
yeah, he does, man. He's one of the best offensive mind that I've seen. I personally witnessed. I love his aggressiveness. I love the fact that he go for it on fourth down all the time.
Hell yeah, bring it, man. Well, it's like Michael's talking about. He's an analytics guy, and some people kind of got their jimmies rustled when he was doing that at Alabama. And he said something that was so profound after. Like, I grew up in an era where there's times where Ole Miss would take some beatings, and you felt like coaches were playing to make it close, not playing to win, and would be very conservative. I'm like, man, screw this shit. You got one opportunity to play a team like this in the year. Why are you being so you're going to lose? Go for it. And he did that. I'm always willing to take a loss if I know my coach is doing everything to win. And you want to play for that, right?
100%. We was not going to be.
Absolutely not. No, I agreed with all those calls. I miss Lane Kiffin so bad. When he was my offensive coordinator, some of the happiest years of my life, I'm just going to say.
I mean, after we missed those 2 fourth down, and we got down to the third one here, we were behind.
And we had to go. They kept moving the ball.
Now, to be honest with you, I don't know. I can't question it because I'm not on the team. I'm not in the field house. I mean, I'm not in the film room. Now, I would love to see them get that ball to Snoop Conner on them.
Exactly what I said.
I disagree with that. Let's tell you something. No, not to discredit Ely. No. I don't. I like them. They're a good player. They're excellent players. But he's too light in the ass to be running that ball down there on the goal line
against Alabama's men.
Alabama. I was just going to say that.
Dude,
you got to put your thump in.
I've been screaming that since the beginning of the season. I've actually, like I said, since I'm married into the Ole Miss family pretty much, they're my team too. I know a lot of the players, and I'm getting on them in morning calls with Petty. I'm like, dude, Snoop Conner needs to touch the ball more. He's the best running back on your team. And he's, we're getting the Ely versus Snoop thing a little bit. And I'm like, hey, I'm not taking anything away from Ely. I'm just saying Snoop is underrated. He reminds me of a guy we had at Alabama named Josh Jacobs that runs for the Raiders right now. that was always like our second or third string running back, and you just always wanted to give him the ball because he got 8 yards every time he touched it. Like very little cutting, just got it done, you know. And that's what I like about Snoop. I think he's going to be an NFL back.
We met that linebacker from Alabama. We was on that 6-yard line because him and Ely met head up. Ely was just too light in the ass. Man, Snoop would have hit that guy 100%.
Right over the top. Toto's not that strong in the hole. Yeah.
If they would have stalemated, Snoop could have twisted a turn and got that 1 yard. We would have been.
I don't know what it is about offensive coordinators when they get down on the goal line and how they abandon the run, but it seems to happen at every school. It's amazing. They get down there and maybe it doesn't work once or twice, but like, you know, you got 4 tries at it at that point, right?
Right. Well, like let me clear this up because I don't want to sound like a jackass. Even those guys, I like they play. I don't know what happened. This is all I just wish I personally just would have loved to see Snoop run the ball in a situation like that. That's all I'm saying. I don't want nobody to take that out of context.
All right, guys, we got one more section of this one, and we will be right back with you with our next guest.
Well, and I don't think anybody would. I mean, because that's, you know, as fans,
I'm sure he said the same thing,
and that's where I do. He made a comment when Snoop finally had that big game. He said, you know, my assistant's been telling me to give Snoop the ball more. Like, he even admits when he screws up. I love when he does that because he kind of calls himself out. But I'm with you, man. Snoop changes things right there. He's our NFL. Michael said this. Look, like you said, Ely is great. He's a change of pace back, and he fits that system of mismatches that Lane loves. But our NFL back is Snoop. And that's the guy you got to give the rock. Like you said, man, there's one thing that don't change about football. I know the offense has now got so much advantages over defense. I know that it's all about mismatches. But when you watch that Ole Miss Alabama game, you knew we were in trouble because the offensive defensive line still determined football. There's still the element of man on man, man up. And like you've been saying all day,
gotta need a little more ass in the ditch.
Got to, man. You get all these slim guys and these finesse guys, all you want is only going to last so long because at the end of the day, when it comes down to that 4th and inches,
that
ass going
you got a 350-pound dude named Powe stopping that middle. You better bring some ass up that line, right?
Especially with that defense we run, man. That 3-man front, that's big, nasty, got great hands. They can get their hands on the guys. Create new line of scrimmage, and they can move lateral.
Yeah, you
got to be big and strong, and with good hands. Get your hands on those guys, eat those blocks up, and be able to move lateral.
Oh yeah, we have multiple. But you and Teddy Laurent, man. Teddy could do it too, man.
Parade, all world. Shit, G Hardy.
Oh shit, man! If he would have played every game. If he just, man, did y'all just look at that dude like, come on, just play today, and we gonna be all right? Because when that dude played,
I mean, what he hit Andre Smith for 3
seconds? Look, Alabama. No, hey man, Alabama fans. One thing you can't give them. They're crazy, but they kind of know football. And I've left so many. I remember when Willis was there. I left the Ole Miss Bama game. God dog, man, y'all got the best linebacker in the country. And Bama fans, they appreciate good. I remember they left that day and said, "Who the hell was that Hardy guy?" I'm like, I wish he'd show up every game because if he did, he could have done that every game.
He whooped Andre.
He had that kind of ability.
Just whooped him. Yeah.
Well, he whooped Andre with a bum feet.
I didn't throw the red high hill. I was near in the vicinity of the red high hill that got thrown on the field. That was the day of the red high.
When Shea made that kick, he was forced out of bounds. Or he wasn't forced out of bounds.
He was forced out of bounds.
Yes, he was.
He was forced out of bounds. Now Michael might look me. We might get an argument going on this one.
I have to check this out. I have to see the tape.
He was forced out of bounds. You know, funny thing. We were going to go to Hardy the next play on a fade route. I don't know, people. Do you remember?
Come on, man. You know, I remember we used to put Hardy down there in the goal line.
Did you ever ask Coach to put you in a fullback?
No, you know what? I did not ask Nut to put me in that fullback. They came to me with it, and I remember we were running that fucking play, man. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I should have never left my feet in the Oklahoma State game. But then I said, hey, listen, I'm gonna be honest. I ain't never really told a lot of people this shit. I just know Deuce was always
Over the
famous
top,
for
yeah.
jumping over the pile, right?
Yeah, he wouldn't. That was Deuce's thing, over the top.
Look, all in practice, like Coach Nutt even went live with it, and we had this fucking walk on that kept ringing my fucking bell. I said, I want to do this or not, but I kept scoring though. I kept scoring. We ran that play. We would run that play.
A walk on was ringing your bell?
Man, he was fucking. He was nothing that was like, y'all try to stop us. So you know, we was all getting crunked or whatever. I was running the ball. They knew I was running the damn ball, so I was running the fucking over. But still though, man, I'm a cool fucking little kid named Kelsey. So man, and I remember saying like, man, shit, I don't know if I want to do this, but I said, man, if I see an opportunity, I'm gonna try to jump in, and that's what I did. And I think the linebacker was Keith Toston, and he met me, but it still was a fucking touchdown, man. If they'd have called it a touchdown, no way they would have been able to overturn.
I thought it was a touchdown. I wanted you to get the TD. I mean, well, I mean,
it was a
yeah.
I ran his fucking ass over.
But you wanted for the
trying to get the extra style points.
points.
I'm with that.
Yeah. You know, that was my first time ever running the damn ball. So I seen it and I tried to leap over in it and he got me and I took a turn and nothing because I seen like I was there. I was in the end zone, but they didn't call it a touchdown.
You hear the comment all the time when Derrick Henry's breaking into the open field. Now the big line is somebody had to make a business decision. Who the hell had to make the business decision to run and jump into your 350? I mean, that was a business decision.
Yeah, he made it. I mean, that was a touchdown though.
Yeah, man. Look, and trust me, we all wanted you to get it. When you bring the big guy in at fullback, you want him to get the touchdown, or whenever they throw it to the tackle on the eligible, you want the Tunsil. When we threw the touchdown, you want them big guys to get that love.
That's right.
To get that touchdown, baby. Ain't nothing like it. Oh, out of school. Oh man, ain't no telling what.
Gonna go ahead and get that yellow napkin for that one.
What were you?
I didn't know it was gonna be a 15-yard.
What was going through your mind when the ball landed in your hands against State? I was hoping you'd get a pick six.
My first, right? So it seemed like everything is like. I remember I ended up with TT. Great party. And I remember like forever like to come. I seen it coming. I just jumped and grabbed it. It's like everything just kept, everything like blacked out, and I thought I was finna go. But shit, I didn't get 2 yards.
No, you didn't know. You went down quick. I saw it. You could tell from the stadium you had. There, you could tell there was an excitement in you. Like, what the hell do I do now? All right, let's go.
Right. I seen the opening though. When I grabbed on it, like you seen like, oh shit, I'm gone.
Yeah, you.
And they was on ass. I'm surprised I hit on the damn ball because they closed in on me quick. I thought I was gone.
You had, like I said, you could tell even then you had this look on your eyes like, oh shit, there's an opening. Let's go.
That's awesome.
That's good stuff, man.
Well, it's been an awesome experience getting to meet you, Jerrell. This is great for me, especially as an Alabama fan. I mean, this couldn't have been better. This is awesome. Thank you very much for coming on our stupid little show and hanging out with us. This has been great.
I definitely enjoyed it, man. Thanks for having me on. This is probably the quickest 53 minutes I've ever seen in my life.
So, man, we didn't bore you to death.
Awesome,
man.
Awesome.
I enjoyed every minute.
Man, you don't know, and I will fan out for a minute, man. You don't know what this meant to me, Jerrell. It is you were absolutely one of my favorite Rebels. Always will be. Love you, man. To get to talk with one of the greats for an hour and get to cut up and laugh has been badass. So, man, Land Shark.
Well, guys, that was a fantastic interview, and I never thought that I would be so damn excited to meet a player from not my team. But that was fantastic, man. And Petty, since you're the Ole Miss guy here on the show, why don't you give us a little closing down of that and your thoughts on what he had to say?
He's speechless.
Oh, Petty's muted himself or something, so we're not going to be able to hear him. This is his first
I
time
got you. I'm sorry. I
on.
muted it so I didn't say anything stupid and train. Man, as an Ole Miss fan, that was awesome. I kind of expressed that at the end. You know, I've always been a fan of Jerrell, and he's – man, what a good guy. Just he was so comfortable and so candid with us. And, man, as a fan, it was so hard not to fan out with that badass on there telling all these great stories. But he made it so easy just to conversate with. And, man, it was – I want to thank you again. I know he's in the Grove partying. Hopefully you got this in the tent going.
Hopefully he's got a Saturday morning cocktail.
Got Saturday morning cocktail going in the tent. Jerrell, you, Todd Wade, all the Rebels, I hope you're hotty-toddy in it. I hope you got your Saturday morning cocktail. Man, thank you for being on the show. Thank you for being so awesome. We look forward to having you again. And, man, I tell you this is one of those moments. Guys, we got big rivalry games today. We saw a lot of ugly stuff happen in Knoxville. And as much as we love football, and I try to tell everybody this is my PSA Saturday morning sweet moment, all the feels. There's so much more to the final score that what goes on today. You're going to make memories with family members in the Grove and at the Quad that last way past whatever the scoreboard says. And when I got out of that meeting with Jerrell and I told Michael, man, I was so pumped, and the first thing I wanted to do was tell the dude that made me fall in love with Ole Miss, and that was my dad. And he passed a couple years ago. But I knew, and my wife knew, she said, man, your dad would really have been pumped about that. So, man, this is kind of a culmination. It was awesome. Awesome for Rebel, awesome for Jerrell, hotty-toddy Rebel Nation. I know because I'm getting my Rebel stuff out because we're about to get a little Crimson in here. But, man, it was really awesome, and I'm going to
before we jump into the Crimson, Petty, we've got a little time. Let's break down this Ole Miss matchup that's coming up today. Let's find what's the keys to the game for your Rebels to win this, and don't just say stop the run because everybody knows that.
No, we're not going to. Matt Corral's health, man. Lane Kiffin has been playing the games all week, kind of playing coy. Matt Corral, is he going to play? He's not going to play. Come on, man. We kind of feel like he's going to play. The question is, can he run it 30 times? And he's facing a little bit more physical dudes than he did last week in Knoxville with them boys in LSU. I know they're kind of falling apart under O here, and nobody knows what kind of motivation they're going to have. You know, they got motivated last week, but did they do it again after the circus this week? But
let me jump in and say something real quick for you. If I'm a coach and I want to kind of confuse people, I might try to act like he was healthy when he wasn't. If he's acting like he's hurt, he's probably okay, right? He's probably going to be better than we think, and he's probably just trying to, Kiffin's a master of social media and a master of the sleight of hand, pretty much. So I'm pretty sure that if he's out there making those jokes, not a joke, if he's making those comments, that he's probably kind of just saying that to the other team.
Well, and Kiffin's so anti-injury. So the whole year we're hearing, don't ask about injuries, don't talk about injuries, and here he's being forthright that our Heisman candidate's hurt. And so I don't know. It depends on Matt Corral. I expect Matt to have to expect him to throw the ball more today. So the receivers are going to have to step up. When he hits you in the hands, number 0 at the goal line, you got to catch the dang ball. You got your chance. So some receivers are going to have to step up, help Matt out. But LSU's got a lot of injuries. So, man, I got my cigar ready. I'm hoping. Manning is going to be in the end zone. We're coming with the sissy blue.
It's the first time you guys have had Manning in the end zone in maybe a decade or two, right?
Woo! It is.
Hoping for a future Manning in the end zone, but I wouldn't mind seeing him in Crimson. I'm going to keep saying that.
I tell you what, man. I didn't send you the article yesterday, and it was written on Rebel Grove. I got to give credit to Chase Parham and Neil McCready for digging into this. And man, I'm not going into the recruitment of him. I'm going into the NIL structure. And people keep asking, why is Texas such a big deal? Why are these teams staying around? Why isn't it Ole Miss? Well, man, with the NIL structures and booster situations, it's about money. And like I said, I don't want to give too much away from Rebel Grove, but when Eli Manning steps on that campus as a freshman, as an 18-year-old kid, that kid's looking to make
Arch.
Oh, who did I say? I'm sorry.
Got Eli in the mind for today, right?
Eli.
We'll forgive you.
Hey, I was there for every one of Eli's home games. He's one of my favorite Rebels of all time. I'd love to see another one, but we're talking about a kid making first pick signing bonus money as a freshman in college.
Before he plays a single college football game.
$10 million numbers. God bless, man. And that's And
look, this comes back to what I said the second that they started talking about all of this stuff a year ago on our podcast, and I said college football as we know it is over, and I think that's proving to be the case nowadays. And I do think that the reason Texas is still in the game is because there's $50 bazillion in Austin, and there's more money in Austin than Alabama, Tennessee, and Mississippi, and probably Georgia combined. That is a city. I mean, Elon Musk just moved. There's the richest man in the world. So
I'm gonna promise you this though: Alabama, they'll pony up to match whatever, and they'll figure a way.
Maybe we just annex Mississippi and call it Alissippi, and then we can have
call it one. But we don't have that's a fear as Ole Miss, man. Do we have the booster structure to compete in the NIL game? Alabama will be able to. They'll be able to play. They got some dudes.
I'm not convinced.
Look, Texas has got a chance to make a move now with this thing. There's no doubt about it. And
Texas, USC, anywhere in these huge money centers, those are going to be the teams that start rising to the top over the 10, 20-year pattern because they're going to have more money, more people with money to give to the players. And unless they create a salary cap in college football, much like they've done in NFL, the richest cities are going to get richer, not the richest programs, in my opinion.
Yeah. But back to the game in Arch and
Justin,
general.
I'd like to get your input on this because we've hashed it out forever.
Well, my opinions echo yours. That there should have been a salary cap or something put into place before they even released the NIL, because this is about to get absolutely ridiculous, like you said. Well, it already is ridiculous, and we're kind of at the point of no return. You've opened Pandora's box, and there's really no way to close it down or to kind of minimize it. It's just
got to cap it.
Well, on the bright side, Spencer Rattler's still rich, right?
Yeah. Please.
And he's on the bench. He's the richest bench rider in college football right now. Pretty amazing.
I have come across so many Rebel fans here now that are giddy about the prospect of getting Spencer Rattler, and I've tried to tell them, you don't want this guy.
No, I don't want that kid.
They don't understand that the guy's he's a cancer. He's a prima donna. And he's a distraction that your team does not need.
If Lincoln Riley can't get it out of him, nobody can.
It's funny you say that, though, Justin. I'd give Lane Kiffin the nod over Lincoln Riley.
Lincoln Riley made Jalen Hurts look like a hero, way better than he looked at Alabama.
Well, I'll say this, man. That's kind of going back to Arch. If Ole Miss were to lose him, we've kind of got a confidence that Lane Kiffin can find a quarterback and make him good. Look at the transformation he's had in Corral's career. I'm with you though. I feel like he could probably get a little more out of Rattler than Riley because I'm a Rebel. But on the flip side, man, I'm with y'all. I'm not sure I won't. I'm not sure that's the transfer I want. But I probably want to be quiet because apparently there is some smoke.
Well, let's leave that one. Let's let that dog lay right now because I'm just going to hope for your sake that y'all don't get that guy. I don't think he's the one, but we're getting close to time for our next guest. We got a big Bama guest coming up, and before we jump into that, Petty, got to get your score prediction for today on this Ole Miss Rebels rivalry game. Ooh. And listen, I'm going to base my gambling on this, so get it right.
Okay, man. LSU scares me. I know they got a lot of injuries, but they showed you last week they could score. Orgeron he's going yaw it, but he knows what our defense got, and he knows that his chance is going to be to run the ball. I think that our defense stepped up a little bit last week. It wasn't what we saw against Arkansas. Tennessee isn't a horrible offense, and our defense did look better. We're going to have some points today. They thought that points were coming last week, so everybody's going to kind of shy away from the under this week. This is where the over goes. Ole Miss it's going to be a 52-42 Ole Miss. It's going to be a barn burner, but we're going to score a little more in the end.
That's only giving me a half point of leeway on the line right now, Petty.
242
I'm not happy with that. You got to give me a better score that gives me an advantage. If you just call it right on the line, how am I supposed to bet on that, buddy? How am I supposed to make decisions based on that crap?
Dude, that's a cover.
Hey, it is a cover by half a point. I don't want to sweat my ass off until 4 o'clock or 6 o'clock tonight.
If you don't want to sweat your ass off, don't bet on Ole Miss. Because we are the key. If you don't know by now that betting on Ole Miss your heart is going to be a part of the.
Well, I'm learning. Well, let me ask you this question. We saw what it looks like when Coach O is coaching with nothing to lose, because I'm 100% sure he was already fired before last week's game. Yeah. Probably went in and told that team that, and they played for him. If there's anything that Coach O is, I don't believe that he's a great football coach, X's and O's, leadership, any of that, but he can motivate and recruit like nothing I've ever seen. And when that dude motivates the guys, y'all are going to be up against a mess. He's coming back to a place where he's coached before. He was already trying to get an apartment there for when they left him on the tarmac, and he got lucky and got out last week. So you're probably going to get a hell of a game from LSU. And I had LSU picked in my pick 3, and I'm going to erase that from the Week 0 podcast right now because the more I look at it, it feels like a trap, and I'm taking the Ole Miss Rebels. So I've officially switched my pick on that game for the week.
Yeah, and that's something we've never really do. When we stick with our picks on the Week 0 podcast, we roll with them. And Michael has had a complete change of heart after talking to one Mr. Jerrell Powe, after watching not maybe more of what's going on with the
also
the
looked at where the money was on this game, and a lot of people seem to think LSU's going to cover. And I know one thing, Vegas doesn't like to lose money.
I just don't see how Ole Miss keeps it close, man. Unless Crowell's got to be healthy, the offense has got to be clicking, and we've got to slow down the run.
Well, or LSU could just screw up. When I'm betting, a lot of times I'm betting against the other team, not for you. You can play your perfect game, and if LSU played a perfect game, they'd probably beat you, but they're not going to play a perfect game.
Well, Justin's our level head. You tell. What you think?
Well, the only way that Ole Miss keeps it close is if they allow it to be close. If they play Ole Miss ball, they play Kiffin ball, which means a hell lot of a confidence, a hell lot of a motivation, then it's not going to be close. I mean, yeah, it may be in the beginning just because it's a rivalry. Everybody's getting pumped up. The players are still motivated to play for Coach O. But
talent differential.
But as the game wears on, Ole Miss should have this game in hand.
Mm-hmm.
And,
agreed.
And Corral's going to play. There's no question. What will he do? We don't know. But my bet is on Lane Kiffin. He's going to find creative ways to get that ball to Snoop Connor and to make sure that Corral's not in any kind of predicament because of his health. But
well, I'm going to try not to influence you too much here, Justin, and you don't know this fact, but Petty and I have been watching your analysis very closely and then comparing that to what happens in reality, and you've been pretty much spot on all of your predictions outside of the Bama-Texas A&M game that we all missed, right? Outside of that Georgia, everybody, you've been nailing it, so I have a tendency to listen to Justin when it comes to matters of the score.
Right.
That's it.
But, yeah, Ole Miss should win this game handily.
Wow.
Can you give us a score prediction before we jump into Bama?
52-21.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I'm
tight.
awfully glad I changed my pick, guys.
Woo.
Week 0 podcast. Check it out. I changed the pick. That one does not hold.
Shit, Justin. I love it, brother.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, tell you what, Justin, how about you take that heater breakdown and shift that over to our Alabama-Tennessee game coming up this week? I'd like to get your keys to the game. Well, wait.
One second. My boy Wes, who we're going to have on the show next week, he coached Ja Hunter back in high school, who's a great Auburn running back right now. We're pulling him in. He thinks I'm sandbagging on Ole Miss. Come on, Michael, back me up. No, I'm Look, man, Ole Miss.
He's worried about stopping the running game. We've talked about this in depth for a week, but I don't think it matters. I think Ole Miss has got a much better scheme, and they're going to outscore them this time.
You know me, Wes. I don't say. Look, if I'm excited, I'm going to say we're going to kick their ass. It's LSU, Ole Miss's defense. You can't ever just have fully. If you told me this at the beginning of the year, you were the one I was trying to argue with that we're better. I can't ever. I've still got PTSD until we do it. Well, sorry, I didn't want to cut that off. I wanted to call my boy Wes out, who we're having next week. So
worthy comment. We needed that one in, and now I'll do a second try to shift us over to the Bama game. Justin, keys to the game. Let's hear it. No scores yet. I don't want those until after Wesley visits us.
Well, first I'm going to do a pause to make sure Daniel's got all that out of his system.
You good, Daniel?
I'm good. I'm going to send Wes a message, pump him up.
There you go.
All right, good deal. First and foremost, this is not the Tennessee of old. So if Alabama comes rolling in there, the same kind of attitude that they did against Texas A&M, we may be in for another long night. So Alabama needs to be dialed in. So that's the first thing I got to bring up. Tennessee is heavily motivated right now by Josh Heupel. He's changed the culture of every facet of the University of Tennessee right now. More importantly, he's won the locker room. So yeah, these guys are ready to play. They had a very polarizing defeat last week, but I still expect them to come in with the same kind of intensity. It really all kind of revolves around Hendon Hooker and how effective he will be right now. We don't know what percentage he's at. I mean, he's pretty good. He's in the top 20 as far as passer rating and yards per attempt, believe it or not.
And let's face it, really turned it on the last 2 weeks before Ole Miss.
He really has. when was the last time that Tennessee had a running game that was ranked 6th nationally? So these guys aren't the pushover that we're accustomed to. So Alabama's going to have to bring it. Tyon Evans is going to play again.
Oh, is he back?
Yes, but I mean, how effective is he going to be? But Cody Mays, their top offensive lineman, is out. And just keep it with the offensive line, and this is where Alabama needs to capitalize. Tennessee is among the worst in the SEC as far as sacks allowed. They give it up 25. And with a surging Will Anderson, we saw what he did against the Bulldogs.
Hey, Justin.
To take full advantage of that. What?
You called that out last week to me on this show. You said, hey, you brought that stat, and it was beautiful. You said, hey, Tennessee is leading the SEC and giving up sacks. I said, well, hell, Ole Miss runs the 3-2-6. For you, Bama Nation, if you want to get a little excited, and what you saw Will Anderson do last week, Ole Miss had 5 sacks running. Now, Ole Miss did blitz a little more, but they still weren't bringing pressure like Bama does, and they were able to get to the quarterback 5 times.
5 sacks without Will Anderson.
Yeah, with that, we don't have Will Anderson. Although we do have the SEC sack leader in Sam Williams. But now, look, you nailed that, Justin. I just wanted to point that out.
And here's something that I would like to see. I would like to see us get ahead of Tennessee and put them in a position where they've got to pass the ball a lot and let Will Anderson get after it. Because the fact of the matter is, you can only get as many sacks as the defense allowed. And I know I always compare this guy to Derek Thomas a little bit. But when you go back to Derek Thomas, I mean, he was going up against teams that passed maybe 12, 18 times a game and was still getting 5 or 6 sacks. So, I mean, it is definitely a different animal. But I think by the time Will Anderson gets to become it looks like we had a little technical difficulty with Justin there for a second. But if Will Anderson gets to become a senior at Alabama, hopefully because of this NIL, maybe he grabs a $10 million sponsorship in his junior year. I would love to see that guy play senior. And Derek Thomas also got drafted as a junior, but I'd like to see one of these guys as a senior.
And that little problem right there is AT&T remind me why they're awful.
Okay, cool. Agreed. 100% agreed on that one.
Will Anderson, I bring up a cool little story. Before he got there, before he played a single snap, my co-host and senior analyst of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, Stephen M. Smith, compared him to Derek Thomas, and people gave him hell about it and laughed him out of the building.
It's a good comparison.
Listen, man, if you want to see Derek Thomas 2.0, Will Anderson is pretty damn close.
I mean, let's compare sophomore seasons. There's not a lot of difference there.
Dude, that's high standards, fellas.
High praise. Derek Thomas, a guy who, if he'd had a full NFL career, he was actually passed away from a car accident or something. Is that right?
Yeah.
And
well, he finished his career.
He did finish his career. Okay,
yeah,
good deal. Yeah, dude got in the NFL and did a lot of the same stuff.
I think he's one of the few players who actually made a Pro Bowl each of all his seasons in the NFL.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Him and Neil Smith were one of the most fierce duos in NFL history coming off the end. I was a huge Elway fan. I remember thinking, God, Derek Thomas is so unbelievable. I wish I could have seen what he did in college when he just like Michael said, he was doing it against like 12 passes a game and getting 5 and 6 sacks.
Getting 6 sacks in those days was mind-blowing.
50% of the passes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, guys, we are 6 minutes out from our next guest right now. And, once he's finished, we're probably going to close the show down pretty quickly. So let's talk about a few of the games that are going on outside of the SEC. I know there's a couple really big ones out there. Justin had actually brought one onto our radar recently, and it was that Pitt-Clemson game. You want to say a little bit about that?
Well, the thing is, Pitt right now is surprisingly very good. Yeah. No one's talking about them. They're the team everybody's sleeping on. I just forgot their quarterback's name. Pickett. Yeah.
Yeah,
he's a really good quarterback, man, and he's catching the eyes of a lot of people now as we're entering the second half of our season. And Clemson still has not clicked it into that high gear. I think
their offense is
they're kind of like moving like an old Geo Metro, to be honest with you.
Up a hill.
And watching Clemson last week against Syracuse, I call a little bit of that game. There's nothing that gives me any kind of encouragement that Clemson is going to do much of anything going out, no matter who they play. And that is just mind blowing, given that the talent they have. And
so having looked at these teams a little bit, to be perfectly honest, I haven't seen a single snap from the Pitt Panthers. So you're a little ahead of me on that. Can you tell me what you think is going to happen in this game? Do you think Pittsburgh is going to be able to pull out the victory on this one?
I love to because I have a friend of mine who played for the Pitt Panthers, Brandon Myree. Actually, he started his career out at Alabama.
That's really, yeah.
But transferred and ended up playing under a legendary coach, Walt Harris. I want to lean towards him because, we're good. He's a good dude. But
Brandon Murray's a great dude.
Awesome guy, man. If you don't follow him on Facebook, you really need to. His posts are awesome. As much as I'd like to go with Pitt, I feel like that Clemson's going to find a way to eke it out again.
Oh, man, we just posted a comment up from the Petties. Now, I have no idea who these people are, some randos that are commenting on our thread, but sounds like Kiffin just announced Corral as a game-time decision. Now, at this point, guys, the poker hand's over. Everyone's already seen the river. I don't think this scares me a little.
That makes me nervous as shit.
Yeah.
However, this latest comment from a Bama fan who I've known to start a brawl on this, I witnessed this man personally start a brawl with about 20 Tennessee fans one night after the Sean Alexander alligator arm and the we couldn't stop Jason Witten game. I say we because I was a student at Bama at the time. Brandon Murray he was supposed to be the next Sean Alexander. I waited on him at McAllister's a few times, and he was one of the nicest dudes I ever got to wait on. But
well, I want to point out something. If everybody can read the comment there from Brother P, and he rolled down his window and yelled, "Roll Tide." I was in Georgia last week, as you all guys knew. I was in Atlanta, and I was walking back from breakfast after just vomiting into the weeds from a rough night at a wedding where they overspiked our drinks and we didn't know it. So thanks a lot, the Loomises. They were supposed to put ice and soda water in the drinks. They didn't, and I got 4 shots in my first one. Don't really remember the rest of the night, but do remember that next morning, walking back to the hotel, classy Georgia fan rolls down his window as he passes me and screams, "Fuck you!" as loud as he can to me and my wife and everybody else. So I just want to make a shout out to the classy Georgia fan who decided to do that last week and appreciate you for not taking it that far.
Hey, Brother P, have you ever been at a party that had some Tennessee girls dancing and singing Rocky Top in which a waffle went flying through the air and may have slapped one of said ladies in the face?
Waffle throwing is off limits for this show, guys.
Yeah, look, Tennessee may throw golf balls, but I've known some Alabama fans to throw waffles at parties.
Well, guys, we are 2 minutes out from our scheduled guest. Justin is communicating him with it right now. As you can see, he's kind of not paying attention to any of us. So hopefully he'll have our ETA on that one before we get in there. There's one more game that I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about, and it's almost a WTF line for me. And if you guys listen to our podcast, you know the what the fuck line is something where you look at it and you're like, why is it that way? Iowa State has been underperforming all year. They lost to Iowa at home. They were ranked preseason top 10. They've just been a habitual underperformer. Why are they a 7-point favorite against Oklahoma State, who clearly has the best defense in the Big 12? Does anybody have the answer to that one for me?
And the coach with the best mullet.
Yeah,
the coach with the best mullet. If you get points for mullets, they'd be undefeated. Yeah, well, they are undefeated.
He's also a full of shit. I'm not a big Gundy fan, but you are right. They do have the best defense in the Big 12. They went to Texas last week. You pointed out last week, Michael, that Oklahoma State has held every team they faced this year to their lowest point total. They're facing a team in Iowa State that I thought out of the first week they were overlooking. They played some middle school team and barely beat them. And I was like, well, they're playing Iowa the next week. Well, then Iowa smacked them. So I'm with you, man. This line is a definite WTF because Iowa State's been underwhelming, and the Mullet's got a good defense. They've got a good team. Hell, they're undefeated.
This feels like a trap game again. A lot of times when I see something that's this off, it makes me second guess it. So, it's kind of like that Ole Miss game. I guess Ole Miss is going to run away with it against LSU, and I guess Iowa State's going to beat the crap out of Oklahoma State, but it just doesn't make sense in this Oklahoma State game. So I'm still going to take Oklahoma State, despite the fact that it doesn't make sense what I'm seeing out in the gambling world.
No, you've got to prove me right. If that's a trap, I'm a rat.
I was hoping you guys could talk me out of this, but it seems like you can't. So
I've got it. I'm in the trap.
I got a surprise for you. I just got a little beep in my ears that lets me know that one of our guests is trying to come on here. So we are imminently about to bring on Wesley Britt. It's going to take a few moments, it looks like, till we get everything cleared up.
You don't use big words like imminently. I'm Mississippi. If it's over 4 letters, I don't get it.
That's why I went to Alabama, so I could learn big words.
Speaking of 4-letter words, I'm pretty good at those. So
like roll tide.
All right.
And I went there to get some rings, but unfortunately, all I got was probation and 5 coaches.
Well, I hate to cut you off, guys. I hate to cut y'all off, but we have got our special guest coming on. I'm about to bring him on. And Justin, could you please introduce this guy as he comes on to our show?
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, Tide Nation, on a very special day, we are bringing to you one of the greatest offensive linemen and players to ever grace the University of Alabama, All-American, former New England Patriot, Wesley Britt. What's going on, brother?
Man, I'm glad to be here. It's Tennessee week. It's a big week. Look forward to a big win.
Absolutely, man. Listen, a lot of the guys.
We're gonna get you back in a Alabama jersey soon.
I don't know if you remember, Wesley. I know you met a lot of people back in your day, but we were at Alabama. I actually went to Alabama, and we were there at the same time, man, and we kind of crossed paths a few times.
You probably had to kick his ass if I had any guess on that.
And I'll be honest, man. I married.
Oh, that's right.
Wes, I married a Crimsonette, and y'all were acquaintances, and she said you used to have a nickname for her called Hot Blonde, and I said, look, it kind of got me fired up. I said, you're lucky he's on that TV screen, and, we're separated because, wait, how big a boy are you, Wes? No, man, Wes, and I'll say this. I was an Ole Miss fan that went to Alabama. I'm a weird breed. You were one of the nicest guys I ever ran across at Alabama. You were one of the most, like I said, you always treated me like you could act like, I didn't understand you're on the field. You were one of the nicest dudes, gentle giants, and then you got on the field and you're a damn beast.
Right. That's right.
Switch.
Treat people, that's one thing my parents taught me in life. Like some of the greatest things in three. Important too.
No, absolutely. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties, so we lost you a little bit in that, and it sounded pretty damn profound. I'm sorry, fucking internet, you know?
Yeah. Really shows the need for connectivity.
Oh, that's right.
You in Coleman? Right. Are y'all on the back roads of Coleman, Alabama right now?
Baldwin County. Yeah, we're leaving Baldwin County, headed to Montgomery and then to Tuscaloosa.
Well, look, Wesley, here's something for me. I was at school at the same time you were there. I don't think we ever crossed paths very much. And even if we did, you wouldn't recognize me because I have long hair and a beard now, and I used to look like, everybody else at Alabama. So one thing that I know you don't want everybody to – oh, thanks, man. Hey, Beard Brothers, right? So, hey, I get a lot of comments of people are like, man, nice beard, when I'm just like walking through a department store. I guess it's not as easy to grow these things as it feels like for me and you, right?
Right, yeah. There's a lot more people who would rather have them.
Oh, definitely. Well, the moment that I was going to bring up, Wesley, and, I know this probably wasn't the best memory for you, but it is probably one of the best memories for every Alabama fan during our era, man. And, you were a huge favorite of every one of us. We were all huge Wesley Britt fans. And when you went down in that Tennessee game, I've never felt more of a sinking feeling in my stomach until the moment when you started pumping your arm, buddy. And I got chills again for the 5th time today just talking about this dadgum story because it was single-handedly the most emotional moment in Alabama football history for me. And, if it's not too painful, if you'd like to talk about that, we'd love to hear it.
Oh, I appreciate you bringing it up. At first, it was, yesterday was the first time I watched the replay of that since 2003, since it happened. Never watched the replay. It's the first replay I watched. And
wow.
That brings back a lot of memories. It's a tough thing at the time, but looking back, I learned so much. When you go through that, whenever you're playing well, you think you have life where you want it, and then 4 plays into the Tennessee game when Shad Williams runs right off my back. And of course, like most tacklers, would-be tacklers, miss shot and just happened to end up in the back of my left leg. When you heard both bones, felt both bones go snap. It was a surreal moment. It was a moment that first came over how fortunate how fortunate I was to be able to play child's game for to pay for my education. To be able to do that, to drape that crimson jersey over my shoulder pad like a Joe Namath, Derek Thomas, Bob Baumhauer, Bobby Humphrey, so many people before me. How blessed I was to be able to do that, and they know how good God is, and having some Christian leaders in there that surrounded us at the University of Alabama. It was surreal just knowing that God has a great plan. It's a sense of ease that if I knew I'd work hard, do everything I could to get back on the football field, but if that wasn't the case, that wasn't in the plan, then I knew there was something better for me out there. And then it was a lot happening real fast. And then I was always trying to figure out, how to help the team. And I knew I couldn't help the team on the field. And I was always a big preacher that you find a way, no matter what your role is, to add value. And so, I had to live up to that during the hard times, figure out how I could help the team. And that wasn't grown and grown what was me. That was, giving glory to God and trying any way to get the team motivated and win a football game. But it was real, and I appreciate you bringing that up. I actually posted a video of that yesterday. You have to go look it up on the Facebook and Twitter.
Me and my wife were sitting on the couch, and Wes, when you started pumping that arm, man, and again, I'm a weird breed. I went to Alabama, but there's some red and blue. But, man, I love football, and I loved you because you had always treated me with such respect, dude. Me and my wife were sitting on the couch just I had to turn, it got a little dusty in there, buddy, man, because and my buddy Justin, I don't want to get back to him. He runs a show called The Bama Standard. That's the Bama Standard, man. That's what
you are the Bama Standard, Wesley, and I just thank you. Thank you for that moment. Thank you for all that. Like my dad right now is probably just sitting here nodding his head like, hell yeah, that was crazy. You know what I mean? So a lot of people that you probably don't think about every day really impacted by you. And I hope future Alabama players see that moment and know what it means to be in that Alabama jersey, because I would have given anything to have been, a few inches taller and a little bit bigger so that I could have put it on. And dude, that was just friggin' fantastic.
I appreciate you saying that. That's what it's all about. Is, handling adversity, being the good times and bad times, being the same person. You really figure out what you stand for and what you're made of when you go through adversity. And looking back, I'm blessed to have that opportunity.
All right. Well, our show's called the Saturday Morning Cocktail Kickoff. So it has a little bit of a meaning. We always bring in a very early cocktail in the mornings, and Petty drinks about 45 Bloody Marys every Saturday morning, and I'm cracking open a beer. What's your favorite Saturday morning cocktail?
Favorite Saturday morning cocktail? Yeah. I didn't know what tailgate was about. That's what my wife gave us. We didn't tailgate. Mine was a game meal.
I saw you at our house, but I've seen you at the Sigma Chi house though.
Hey, coffee is a great answer.
Yeah.
Coffee is a definitely acceptable answer for this question.
I met you at the Sigma Chi basement, and you weren't drinking milk, big boy.
Oh wow. But hey, speaking of that Tennessee game,
that's right.
Yeah, I don't stray too much further from Bud Light. I'm a pretty simple man.
Nothing wrong with that.
Stick with the classics.
What I was going to say,
right.
Unfortunately for me in 2003 for that game, I actually had to miss that game. That was my senior year. But my best friend got married that day of all days, so I had to go back to Mississippi. And I couldn't watch that game live. It was 5 overtimes, which we saw what happened. But yeah, that's a cardinal sin in my eyes. But for all the newbies, they really have lost just how important this game is to fans and you the players. And you were involved in 2 really big matchups against Tennessee. 2002, we broke the streak. We went up to Knoxville and we took them down convincingly. And then in 2005, we had that epic field goal win as time expired. Between those 2 games, man, what was your favorite, and what are some great moments you took from those matchups?
Yeah, I'm having trouble hearing a little bit, but it sounds like we're talking just the history of the game. And I think there's so many kids, like I think my 11-year-old son, he doesn't remember ever losing to Tennessee, but we've gone back and forth. I think there's a 7th game streak that we broke in 2001. And this is at a point in time, Tennessee Alabama was as heated, if not more heated, rivalry than it was with Auburn. That's a team that we got to beat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you go in practice every day, and I'm not sure if they still do it, but Rocky Top blaring in the locker room, hearing that is something that you never wanted to hear, and you especially didn't hear that after games at the basement Sigma Chi house either. At the end of making up new words after a big win.
Oh yeah, boy, didn't it seem like they made up a few extra new words to that Dixieland Delight after we graduated?
They did. They added a lot to it.
Yeah.
Rocky Top grew too. Well, no, we always did that. We always did the little sweet.
That's one good thing about social media is that people can come up with some very innovative lyrics to songs.
That is great.
World.
Well, no doubt.
Well, and then, us in the South, after, us college kids, after a few cocktails, we get a little lively and get a little animated with our singing. You go to Harry's Bar enough times and hear Wayne Mills do Rocky Top, you're going to learn a few extra words to it.
Harry's Bar just dated all of us.
Man, I won't put you on the spot, but I was in Harry's with you one night, too, Wes. It got a little rowdy.
Well, speaking of Tuscaloosa, there is a team in Puke Orange coming down today, and I'd like to get Wes's take on this year's Alabama team, and what do you think about the game today?
We're getting better. I think our offensive line, of course, being an old offensive line, I'm always paying attention to how the offensive line is gelling. I think the 3 interior guard centers are still having room for improvement just on communication and picking out Mike linebacker. We've got to show that today. Tennessee's front 8 that we're blocking, picking up stunts. But they're going to throw it at us because we've had trouble with that. Defense is starting to, last week showed some improvement, making calls, trying to get out. Once we get beaten man coverage, I think we got to be flexible and adaptable and start moving zone, keep our big guys play inside. I think if we do that, let our big dogs on front 8 on defense, just let them play. Let them be the caliber athletes that they are. Let them be the beasts that they are. Go out and play and make plays. Then I think we win 42-6.
Let the big dogs eat, you say?
Oh, I like that.
Let them eat.
Absolutely love that.
Let them eat. I like that. Well, you're specific. We've had some defensive linemen on here and a few other different players and stuff, but getting that perspective from an offensive lineman. All right, when you go in, you've prepared all week for what they're going to throw at you. How different is it in those first few series when they start, game planning and trying to take advantage of your guys' tendencies? Is it harder at the beginning of the game, or is it harder toward the end when you get tired? Like, where does it really get tough for linemen? Because again, not a position I played. I don't know much about it.
As the game goes on, it's easier. It always felt easier for me. Like I was feeling the game, feeling the flow of the game, and it depends on your mentality. The good offensive linemen have those blue-collar lunch pail mentalities, and we like to wear people down. I always felt like it was the harder it was, the more tired it was. The plays we ran, that more advantage that I had. Because I wanted the chance to get out there and just 105 play offensive play from scrimmage, running the ball at least half of those plays. We get 60 plays. If you get 40 run plays in the game and just wear people down, I liked it. I've been on teams with me, Justin Smiley, Evan Athis, look across the line of scrimmage and see Tennessee defensive linemen puking on the ground. You can just see in their eyes they don't want one.
Well, that's some dogs.
Wish I had a video of that one. That's fantastic.
Well, Wes, we had Jerrell Powe on earlier. You remember him from Ole Miss? And
man, unbelievable athlete.
He said his word for the day was Ole Miss needs more ass. And man, when you just mentioned your offensive line, that's all I could think of. Y'all had some ass on that offensive line, man. Y'all had some. God, that was a great line.
Yeah, and even down, we had Mauricio Portis, Alonzo Ephraim.
Yeah.
They played some ball.
Mhm.
In NFL Europe for a while, Atlas Heron.
Oh, yeah.
Players.
Man, it definitely was.
This
Hey, did
Atlas,
you bring your
Atlas
help?
may have a son in Tennessee.
Really? Well, he popped him out quick.
Alice's son's at UAB now.
No, he did.
Yeah.
UAB. Okay.
Did you bring your helmet for Katie to wear today? Because you know these crazy orange asses throw golf balls and stuff.
I mean, how does that get through? Did y'all see the SEC short?
Yes.
No sunscreen.
The knives. Well, that's for cutting the tomatoes.
Right. Sunscreen, I got you there.
Yeah, Well, speaking of, you mentioned that Jerrell Powe was a hell of an athlete, and we asked him this same question, and we got an answer that kind of shocked us a little bit, but was also very, reasonable when we heard it and once we thought about it. But, you played at the highest level of football. Is there anybody that you've ever seen, whether on your team or on somebody else's team, that was such an athlete that when you looked at them, you were just like, damn?
Yeah, there were a lot of people. A lot of times you'd see, when you look at like a Richard Seymour, he was one that was a unbelievable, just a physical specimen. Ben Watson, Dwight Freeney, that could really play ball. But it was the best players though didn't even look that fresh. Like a Mike Vrabel, Michael Strahan.
Wow.
Vince Wilfork, guy that just made plays. And over and over and over, it felt like they knew the play better than I did. The smart guys. Teddy Bruschi, you would never think he even played football if you just saw him in the mall. But boy, you get on the football field, they just turn it on. But I saw a lot of players that what we'd say is look like Tarzan, play like Jane. There were some good-looking athletes out there that they back down real quick.
I love that. Looked like Tarzan, played like Jane. That's fantastic.
Well, you look like Tarzan, played like Tarzan, so. Or more like Andre the Giant, man. You were so dang tall.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think he's shrank very much since then.
No, you ain't gone
past
down.
tense is not right there.
Should have done the beard, man.
Wes, we talked about this a couple weeks back on our show, and about Bill O'Brien and how we as Alabama fans have been kind of questioning his play calling. And, when he was with you, the run game was y'all's bread and butter for the Patriots. But now it seems when B-Rob starts to get hot, O'Brien tends to veer off of that. What are your thoughts so far on Bill O'Brien with his tenure with the Tide this far?
Yeah, I think Billy O he's obviously brilliant. He's a brilliant football mastermind. He plays good, and he does a good job at adapting, and it has always with New England, and then with the Texans too. And I think he will. He's probably still learning Rice and his tendencies and what they have in offense and what weapons and when they can perform. I think this game one is against Tennessee, getting into the meat of the season. I think we'll start to begin to see what he is about in the play calling. But he's probably getting comfortable with Coach Saban too, because that's a lot of pressure, Coach, when you're coaching for Nick Saban, to get things right and to not make mistakes and let players win or lose games. So too many times, offense, defense coordinators think that they're the ones winning the games. A good strategy is super important. But at the end of the day, the players just have to make plays. And Billy O has been one of those that tries to let the players make the plays. And hopefully we'll just keep doing that when we get down the 4-yard line and 4 plays and score a touchdown. We got to run it down the road with the hosses we got.
Give it to my former Patriot brethren, B-Rob, man. Gotta pound it with B-Rob.
B-Rob, because he does. It's incredible. He's going to get 2 yards every time he's hit. It doesn't matter.
Look, man, I know I know that defensive coordinators crowd that box inside the 5-yard line, but man, I like against A&M, everybody screamed it already. You got to get at least one chance, if not 2, give it to that guy. Like you said, he's going to get 2.
And it's
But
funny,
the great team, it doesn't matter. We should be able to tell them what the play is. Hey, we're running 34 lead zone. Do it, and do it again, and they shouldn't be able to stop us for 4 yards.
No doubt. And it's funny, last week against Mississippi State, we get down to the goal line, and we line up in shotgun, and Nick Saban quickly vetoed that, called the timeout, and then brought the horses back in a jumbo package and gave it to B-Rob. I thought that was hilarious.
No, that was awesome.
But for me,
awesome.
Bill,
so,
yeah, it was.
And hopefully we're learning from that, because B-Rob, he'll pound it in. He'll find a way to get to the whole end.
He's a Patriot. Former Patriot, man. That's how we roll.
That's right, baby.
Well,
I love it.
but
See, I got all those Tuscaloosa ties, man. It's just something's wrong with me with the red and blue.
Yeah, we know you've had a defect the whole time, Petty, and that's fine. That's fine. I got one more question before we let you go, Wesley. Because first off, thanks a lot for coming in and just letting us meet you. I haven't met you yet. I know these guys probably already have. It's been my pleasure. But I've got one more quick question that has to do with guys. I'm having some internet. I can't see anything. When you guys take over, I'm losing my internet connection. I'll be right back.
All right, let Justin roll.
Hey, Wes, I do have to ask this, man.
Good,
You see Marvin's
I had
T-shirt?
I had a feeling that was going to be a tough question.
It sounded like he was having a hard time putting it all together. But while he's gone, I want to ask if you see Marvin's T-shirts that he's circulating.
I'm empty.
Yes, I have. Yes,
Oh.
I commented on one of them on Facebook.
Well, you were on the show, Wes.
Oh, I was.
Dude, Wes, I watched that show that was the drawing. Weren't you on for the homemade
right.
T-shirt episode?
That was the black kid. He took magic markers from his kid and drew up a T-shirt by our feet.
Wes, you did. I know you didn't see it because we're. No, he said the next week we had them on our podcast. Me and Michael do a podcast called Week Zero Sports, and we had Justin and Marvin on, and I had my wife, the Crimson. She made a Keep Pete shirt in red and blue, and man, I got on the show, and Marvin had no idea what to think about that. He's like, "Keep Pete? What do you like? His brother?" You know, he's. It was good, man. It was.
It's funny, man. Those shirts have gone viral.
Guys, I'm having there's an outdoor noise in my thing, so I've got to cut out for a minute.
Yeah.
What was that? I'm sorry.
I thought about making them
What was that,
on the
Wes?
campaign website to help increase donations to the campaign. Let's go, Brandon.
But it's been so funny seeing.
T-shirts.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's awesome.
All right, guys. Am I here? I think I'm back. A little bit of internet instability. Maybe it was that shitty AT&T we were talking about earlier. I'm not sure. Who knows? But what I was going to ask you is, can you give us your crimson-colored glasses? Something like this. You know, crimson-tinted glasses, right? Give us the rosy preview of the Bama game today. I want to know how it's going to go, and I want to hear it the way Bama fans want to hear it.
You got one of these?
40. Final score. First of all, my rose-colored, crimson-colored glasses, they don't come off.
Yes. I love it.
You don't wear those blue-colored glasses.
Now, look at that crap. What is that garbage over there?
Man,
right?
you know you love this sissy blue.
Well, we've been introducing these, Wesley. We're going to actually produce these with a little company called Gooder that does running sunglasses, and we're going to do fan-tinted glasses, crimson glasses, powder blue glasses, your team, whatever you want. So we're going to send you a pair as soon as they come out as a thank you for coming on to our show.
Thank you so much for having me. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. All right, guys. What did y'all think about that? What a great guest.
Absolutely, man. He's definitely one of our favorites from the Bama Standard, man. We can, and he's a guy that whenever you ask him, don't matter what time of day or night, hey Wes, will you come on the show? He's like, I'm there. So he's
in the car doing it, and awesome, by the way. And the worst part is most of the background noise has been coming from my damn stream, guys. I'm really sorry about that, but my next door neighbor decided it was a great time to start blowing the leaves, and apparently he blew my AT&T connection out there because I started losing everybody when I was trying to ask a question, and I sound like an idiot. So apologies.
And it got quiet when you cut out. I was like, damn, that noise coming from Michael.
It was for me. Yeah, it was absolutely me. And, well, Saturday morning, I guess, that's when everybody wants to do yard work. It is what it is.
Absolutely.
No, Justin, great guest, though, man. Wesley is such a class. He's a class act, obviously.
Without a doubt, man. And I was curious to see what he thought about Bill O'Brien and his play calling. But like I mentioned before, and we've talked about it on the Bama Standards, he played under Bill O'Brien when he was with the Patriots.
That's right.
So I was really curious to see what his overall thoughts thus far with what Bill O'Brien is doing is, and he gave me a little bit of an insight. But I still want to see better from Bill O'Brien, and he hadn't really shown me a whole lot. So I mean, it's game 7, game 8, and he hadn't really done a whole lot.
I hate to be the contrarian on this point, but I disagree a little bit. And I do believe there's times where he could call plays better. Very obvious that, the first time we got down close on Texas A&M, we ran the ball 2 times and got stuffed both times, and then we passed it in for a touchdown. So I get it. I get why he didn't run the ball in those, but it was a bad decision. Everybody knows that in hindsight. He should have ran the ball. We would have gotten in. We had the dudes to do that. However, I don't know if everybody else is watching what's going on that criticizes Bill so much, because we are doing some things, and it's not all the time, but when it's key plays, you'll notice we come out and we run an NFL-style play where you get motion one direction, motion back the other direction, and then a play that kind of confuses in the 10 to 15 yard, and we got wide open receivers every time. And we've also ran some running plays out of that double motion that completely destroys the defensive mindset over there. Now, I don't know if those are so complicated that you can't really install those plays in college football because there's so much things going on, and usually you get a false start. But I've seen some very innovative things from Bill.
Well, he is definitely getting the wide receivers a little bit more involved, and I'm really happy after seeing the Mississippi State game, and then of course Marvin would chew me out. But it's Mississippi State. You're supposed to do this. But for me, the wide receivers played probably the first complete game as a unit this past Saturday. Jamison Williams is being Jamison Williams. John Mechie had his first 100-yard game of the season. And then now we got Trayshawn Holden, who started to emerge as quite possibly is going to be that second or third guy to really take the pressure off of Jamison. So I think Bill O'Brien needs to continue to make creative plays for those guys, get those guys involved, and really get this offense going, especially against Tennessee.
Well, and one of the complaints from Bama fans was drop passes, but then you're also going to get on the coordinator. How much better does the coordinator look early in the season if the receivers aren't dropping those passes?
Yeah, True story. Now, I got another question for you, Justin, because you've got a little bit more inside connection to the Bama program than us. But what do you think about the Jai Hall situation out of last week, how it's kind of progressed through the week? And do you think that either A, he's going to start doing it right off the field, because that was clearly the message that Saban gave us, or do you think that he's going to be history? Now, before preseason, the first time I saw the guy play football, I predicted he'd be a top 10 pick in 2 years, in his third year in football. I really do want to see him, but if he's not doing it right, I don't want him on there. What's your take, and what is what's kind of the vibe with Ajayi Hall?
Well, I will say that the vibe has greatly changed as the week has progressed. Just talking to Stephen M. Smith, as he has an insight in the program. A couple of the players and Nick Saban had some one-on-ones with him and kind of set him straight and had him calm down. But initially, first of all, if you're not on the field, there's a reason why Nick Saban doesn't have you on the field. He wants the complete package. Sure. Kids today forget that even though they're a 4 and 5 star, you still have to come out there and you still got to impress the coaches. You still got to do the right things, not in practices, the weight room, the classroom, every phase. And they got to be able to trust you before they can put you into a game, regardless of how talented you are. And when this initially happened, that to me, after a victory, showed me, pure sign of selfishness. You just had a big bounce back win big team win, and the first thing you want to do is take off all association from Alabama on your social media, and then throw in there calling it quits. And then one of his teammates actually retweeted, kind of supporting what he was doing, saying that you got killers in the locker room, you got to feed them. No, you don't.
Here's the deal, and I'm going to tell you this, and this is going to be the slight, devil's advocate to what you're saying. The single reason why I thought Ajayi Hall was such a hell of a player, it wasn't his athletic ability, it wasn't what he was doing, it was that in the third quarter of an A-Day game where he was on the third string team, he was going up and making plays and sacrificing his body and then coming down and talking shit about it on the back end because he is a competitor and competitors want to be on the field, and I get that he wants to be out there. Bad decision, but I love his mindset.
Well, he's a hell of an athlete, man, a physical guy, competitive guy. Kind of reminded me a little bit of a Julio Jones. In that 8-day performance.
With more attitude.
Got us excited, and we thought we were going to see him on the field this year.
We will.
In a more prominent role, but it just hasn't progressed in that direction.
Let me point another. Oh, sorry, finish. I thought you were finished there.
And then, fast forward to this previous week, you see that happen, and he really needs just to kind of be humble and quit thinking the way these today's athlete or today's youth think, and understand that you have the process. If you play the wait your turn game under Nick Saban, it's going to pay dividends. I mean, look at Najee Harris. Look at Mac Jones.
I've got a better example. I want to bring this up right now. Have you looked at Devontae Smith's freshman year receiving statistics?
Not recently, but
like 200 or 300 yards and a touchdown we all remember very well, maybe two. Okay. But he did not have a very strong freshman year because he was doing it the right way. He was going through the Bama process. And by the end of that season, for hanging on and doing what he was supposed to do, he ended up making one of the best plays in the history of Alabama football and also going on to win the Heisman 3 years later. So I just want Ajayi to look at that guy and see what it takes to get there.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Everybody's athlete. The worst thing you can tell today's athlete is wait. But
yes,
if you do that under Nick Saban, like we just said, it's going to pay off in the long run. Devontae
Jones.
Yeah, Devontae Smith, Mac Jones, Najee Harris. The list goes on.
Najee. Yeah, of all of them, Derrick Henry and Najee are probably the most impressive specimens of that because they could have started for any team in the entire country on day one, and neither one of them got carries till their third year.
Yep, absolutely. And
dead on.
What happened, but yeah. And since all that happened, the post has been removed, and things seemingly are calming down for Ajayi Hall, and hopefully he understands now. And then when that moment does come, he's able to take the field and be that next Bama wide receiver that's making us look good and continues the excellence of wide receiver youth.
Well, I love it. And that was a great point to kind of start closing down this day. And, we always are going to end our show. You got one more for me? Go for it.
I got one more point, and I don't know if y'all have come across this, but on Bama Twitter and on Bama social media, a lot of fans are still dogging Bryce Young.
That's crazy. He is – that's insane.
Exactly. One fan actually got on there and saying, you got to pull him out. He's getting progressively worse. You got to bring in Paul Tyson or bring in Jalen Milroe.
Are you kidding me? Good God. These people need to have their crimson colors pulled. Get that card, take it away from them, because if you cannot recognize brilliance in that kid's a sophomore. He's starting his 6th game ever, and he has been nothing short of brilliant for this year. And there's a whole offense going on around him, too. This is not all Bryce Young that's doing this. Like this. That aggravates me pretty bad.
It aggravates me too, because the only gripe I've had about him really is when the run is there and you got Green in front of you, pull the ball down and get the yardage is there. And he did a better job against Mississippi State. He trusted his feet and he got those big yards. Other than that, yeah, you're right, man. People got to realize he's a sophomore, 7 games in. And the mistakes he makes are just those young mistakes.
They're not even many mistakes. Like, most of the mistakes he makes because his receiver slaps the ball down or throws it up in the air so somebody can intercept it. Let's just be honest.
I'm sorry, but if he's so bad, then why is he leading the SEC right now in passer rating? Why he's
not bad. It is stupid. That's the 85%ers that Petty talks about all the time that never step foot on the Alabama campus, that just want to talk about knowing things. And look, we'll criticize coaches here and there, but I'm going to be the first one to tell you, again, I didn't go to coaching school. They're way better than me. And that's why anytime I go to criticize a Saban decision or a Kiffin decision for going for it on fourth, I have to take a step back and really think about it. It's like, oh, these guys probably thought about this long and hard before I did.
Yeah, and also, too, Tua Tagovailoa was the exception and not the rule.
Sure. Can't judge people against him.
Not every freshman or every true sophomore is going to come in and just start slinging the deep ball and hitting those routes like Tua Tagovailoa or even Mac Jones did.
Well, and no quarterback's perfect. What kind of damn perfection are you expecting out of this kid? He's been pretty, like you said, he's got the best QBR in the SEC right now, and there's a kid in the SEC who's number one for the Heisman named Matt Corral.
Yeah.
Like, he's a sophomore. Like, oh, man, people are stupid.
He's absolutely a sophomore. And I want to tell you something. Many of you may not know the guy whose comments on the screen right here, but this dude's leading in probably the most competitive pick'em league that's available out there. He's plus 25 or something on the year. So when he speaks, you listen when it comes to games. You want to comment in your favorite pick of the week there, Mr. McCullum. We'd love to hear that on the show. Everybody like to make some money. Feel free to throw it out there for us.
Now, I will say, I wouldn't mind some packages being installed where Jalen Milroe can come in and just kind of throw the defenses off a little bit, maybe do like a wildcat or something like that, just to kind of change things up. But no, Bryce Young is the real deal, and and for him to look this great this early, year 2 is going to be absolutely insane.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Absolutely, man. The kid's got a Heisman. His progressions towards Heisman and
sounds a lot like those Miami Dolphins fans down there that keep complaining about Tua when he's played 2 games this year and looks like a stud every time he throws the ball, and their shitty offensive line lets him get killed. He runs for his life and still puts up numbers. So, I get it. So, bringing us out of the Bama game and back to how we usually close the show, I guess we've all got to do our score predictions for the Ole Miss and the Alabama game before we get out of here. So, do Ole Miss first, and let's start with our Ole Miss expert, Mr. Petty. Tell me how it's going to go.
Ooh. Well, man, I've gotten called out by my boy Wes in Mississippi that I'm sandbagging. You guys, everybody's got more faith than I do, so shit, I guess I'll just put on these damn blue glasses. Say some hotty toddies, go to hell LSU, and we're going to beat that ass. What, Justin? I said 52-42, and I'm sticking with it. I'm going to light up a cigar. I hope y'all get to light up a cigar.
Oh.
All right. How about our man Justin here? Justin, you're on the spotlight now. I kind of forgot to put us on the 3-man list after we got off. What are you thinking today in this Ole Miss game?
First of all, that announcement by Lane Kiffin about Matt Corral being a game-time decision, he's playing. Let's just get it straight. Oh, now will he be as effective? That being able to run the ball and whatnot. We don't know, but he's still going to be Matt Corral, and he showed me a lot last week from being a leader and a guy that has some straight balls. I mean, he's had his 2 best receivers taken out, had everything going against him, but he still gutted it out, put the team on his shoulders, and he carried them to a victory. And that's a big difference between a year ago. Man, just incredible progression for him.
What a difference a coach makes.
It does. And if he's not able to be 100%, man, Lane Kiffin's going to find some creative ways to get Snoop Connor the ball, get Jerry Ely the ball, and whoever has the hot hand. So don't ever doubt Kiffin. I still say, unless Ole Miss does something to get in their own way, they win it. I can't talk. I'm so excited. They win it running away 52-21.
I love it. 52-21, hotty toddy. Well, I have a lot of similar thoughts about this game. In the beginning, I was seriously worried about Ole Miss stopping the LSU run game. And then I got to thinking, they're probably going to shit the bed on their own. We're talking LSU. We're talking Coach O here. They had their big blowout win last week. I'm pretty sure they're all putting it into cruise control and heading on to 2022. So I actually think that after a lot of thinking this week, I actually think Ole Miss is going to win this game walking away. And I'm thinking 41-27, and that last 7 is going to be a garbage touchdown. They're going to be up. They're going to be up 21 going into the last few minutes of the fourth quarter.
Hotty toddy, gosh almighty, who the hell are we, baby? I love it, guys.
That's right. Maybe I need a pair of those blue glasses, Pettis.
I'll get you some.
All right, so moving on to our next game, and we'll start with Justin here since he's our Alabama man. Tell me how it's going to go today. Do you need some glasses?
As an Alabama fan, an Alabama player, you're not fired up to play Tennessee. Something's wrong with you, and you're one of these newbies who doesn't really understand. You're just jump on the bandwagon. You're getting your T-shirt from Walmart, yada yada. This is actually one of the biggest rivalries and longest rivalries in college football, even longer than Alabama and Auburn. So this is quite a big deal. One of the main storylines is Henry To'oTo'o going against his former team. You gotta believe that he's going to be dialed in. He better be dialed in. If he's not, something's wrong. So I'm going to be focusing on him today and seeing how he's going to play. I'm also excited seeing Daniel Wright inserted into the lineup. DeMarco Helms has been sat on the bench, and since being inserted to the starting lineup, Daniel Wright has looked really good. So I'm hoping that carries over to this game. But again, Alabama's going to have to come out ready to go, and not like they did against Texas A&M. Tennessee's defense is a little chippy, so they're going to make us work for it up at first. But give them a big dose of B-Rob, and when you give them a big dose of B-Rob, pop it out to Trayshawn, pop it out to Jamison. Alabama wins 45-17.
That's a heater right there.
I like
45-17. I'll take it. Now, Petty, you're wearing that, weird colored shirt you've got there. He doesn't feel very Bama-y. We want your opinion anyway. What's the Sissy Blue opinion on Bama?
The Sissy Blue opinion is I watched that Ole Miss Tennessee game pretty close last weekend, obviously. And Tennessee left that game a little hobbled. Hooker, it's a damn hooker.
He's a damn hooker.
Mike got beat up by his pimp a little bit last week and was a little hobbly after the game, and they had to go to Milton, who was the only damn person in the stadium not throwing anything, and just ran the ball out of bounds. So I think Hooker is going to be a little hobbled. Even if he does play, he's not 100%. Alabama's going to be able to stack the box. Tennessee's a run first. They run a lot of the same offense as Ole Miss, but not as good as Ole Miss. So what did Bama do against Ole Miss? On the flip side, I think Bama takes the same game plan they did against State and then against Ole Miss, where they're going to pound that ass. And so, man, I expect the same thing. Alabama 49, Tennessee 9. Rinse and repeat score-wise from last week. Roll Tide.
Ooh, Roll Tide. I like the sound of that.
Will Anderson take advantage of that porous offensive line? Matter of fact, set the sack record today and get 5 sacks.
All right, big man.
Well, I'd like to see that. Well, look, here's the thing. I've got to give a little bit of credit to the Tennessee Volunteer and what the fuck am I talking about? No, I'm not. How many possessions do we get? If we get 11 possessions, I'm saying 77-0. Roll fucking Tide.
Man.
Woo! Now back to normal. Probably be a decent game.
We just witnessed a split personality thing.
Oh yeah.
That's my wrestler persona. You're a big wrestling fan. You know what that is.
Were you a wrestling promo right there?
Oh, yeah.
Limousine riding, jet
you put these things on.
Rolex wearing.
Look, you put on these week zero crimson tinted glasses and your mind changes. That's what happens, dude. All of a sudden you start feeling it, and you might be able to get yourself a pair of those crimson tinted glasses.
Wife still and baby kissing.
Oh, yeah. Next week we'll have those babies up ready for order for you guys. Crimson tinted, powder blue tinted glasses too. And if you've got a favorite team, call us and sponsor them. We will get them on there as well. Roll Tide.
Not available in that puke orange.
Not available in puke orange yet.
They don't make it that ugly. But they might.
There's a good chance we're going to have some puke orange tinted glasses for our Tennessee fans out there, and they'll probably be sharp because we'll just stick with the orange lenses and the white frames, and that's going to be hot.
All one of them.
All right. Well, guys, hell of a show today. You guys ready to watch some football?
Let's watch some football.
All right, you guys, I don't know if anybody noticed, but our guy Kenny McCullum, who is leading one of the most, like I said, competitive pick'em leagues in the country that you can find, he's on LSU. So he's either trying to trick us into making bad picks or he's giving you guys a freebie. That's up to you to find out.
Boo, Kenny. I'm with you, Kenny. I think they cover too.
Well, guys, wonderful show. We've got a little bit of time to make our picks, and we hope all you guys join us again next week. If you watch make sure you follow us on YouTube. Get on the Week Zero Sports and the Bama Standard YouTube channel. Follow both channels. Make sure you're following our podcast. Make sure you're following the Bama Standards video podcast every Tuesday night. And guys, let's watch some damn football.
Yep.
Hotty toddy.
Roll Tide.
See you guys next week.
Oh, we should have some people too.
Oh, we do have some, but we're going to keep those a secret. Over and out.